How'd it go, Bob?
All right, all right, all right. Hey, first things first is I am in a very uh I'm in a very weird state in my life, but I unconditionally love and what I want to do is I want to ask a favor. I want everybody to just say we love you, Leah. Can y'all do that please for me?
We love you, Leah.
We
We
love you,
love
We
Leah.
love you, Leah.
We love
Love
you,
Love you,
you,
Leah.
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 We
Love
love you,
you.
Leah.
I said everybody. I ain't say a couple of y'all. I said everybody. There's more in
I
here that ain't said it
love
yet.
you,
Love you,
Leah.
Leah.
Leah,
Love
we
you,
love
Leah.
you.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Love Leah. If you can
Wesley
hear
said
me
it.
on this.
Said a
Love
couple.
you,
Wesley
Leah.
said it too. His mic's just messed up.
Yeah, I know. What's going on with y'all? Mic. Anyways, y'all need to
I
fix that
think it's
shit.
that headset. His
Yeah.
headset, it's old.
Well, at the next stop, y'all need to go ahead and get you another one. How about
Who is
that?
Leah?
Yep. He even just said yep along
Man,
with you.
Leah is the love of my life that I just love to death. And yeah, she just needs some love. That's all. She just needs some love. I don't think, some people just don't got enough love in their life, honestly. And when you don't got
Mm-hmm.
enough love, you don't see it as much. You don't get to, I don't know. But I think people just need more love. That's all it really boils down to. So I want to show her some
Where
love.
is
Love.
the love?
That's how it goes. You dig what
Love
I'm
in
saying?
lieu of hate.
We
You,
all
Love
need
in
more
lieu
love.
of hate.
we all need more love. That's a
Sure.
fact. There's too much hate in this world right now.
Love sums
There's too much.
love sums up the law and the Ten Commandments.
That is
That's
very
why we're
true.
doing what we're doing, isn't it? This is out of love. This is
Yeah,
a labor of love.
yeah, straight up. So today, what we're gonna do is we were supposed to be working on. Quentin was supposed to come through, and we were gonna do a run through, of very beginning to very end on everything, including documents that was filed, answers that was given, some of the problems. But he didn't come through. He hit me up and said, "Nope, I'm not gonna do it." So I was like, "Okay." So today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a workshop. I know there's a lot of situations all across the board this week I have lacked completely in relation to it, but I just got burnt out, y'all. I couldn't do it. I've been doing 8 months straight every single day, 12 hours plus for 8 months now, and y'all all know it. So
Can I take a quick? We can be full of love and still have the capacity to have more.
you know what? You
Yeah.
bringing up something that I'll even touch on a little bit more, Jim. Right? So I feel like, okay, I was raised up in a church, right? Um, from the age of like 3 years old up until like 6 or 7, our family lived in a tour bus and we traveled around the United States as a
Man,
gospel group. My family was a gospel group, okay?
that's
And
awesome.
so as they traveled around as this band, they'd sell their tapes, you know what I'm saying, everything that they could. Um, I was blessed. I don't this is why I say I come from another I know I
Little
come from
drummer
another.
boy.
And yeah, I know 'cause I come from another life because at 3 years old, I was literally playing the drums like I was a 20-year-old. You dig what I'm saying? Like
That's
perfect.
hella cool.
And so that's how I feel like I know I was, I'm from another life because that's just it's crazy. They put me in front of a drum set, perfectly played roles and all. So they took me and put me out. Anyways, I'm raised in the church. I learned all about the Bible, all throughout life. I learned what love is. I learned what forgiveness is. I learned what unconditional love is, right? Then as I get older, I go through mistakes in my life where, my family had split up, my mama and dad. I'm actually the one who caught my father cheating on my mother, brought it to my mother's attention, and I felt
Oof.
responsible as a child, right, for doing that. Like if I wouldn't have said
Yeah.
nothing, my family would have still been together. So that was a lot on me, and it turned me to the streets.
No.
And I got in the streets and got heavy in the streets, like nasty. I got a rap sheet. I'm not bragging about it, but it's there and it's long. And you know what I'm saying? Like I made a lot of mistakes. But one thing I've realized through all that was that while my father wouldn't be there, my mom and dad got end up getting back together. But while my father wouldn't be there for me in all those times, my mother always was. Now that shows me something. What is unconditional love? Right? When you love somebody, you love somebody. It's not for what they do for you. It's not, the joy or happiness that they necessarily bring to you. It's just you love that person. It's an unconditional love for that person. And it may be in a variety of wide different things. It could come from childhood trauma. It could be anything and everything. But one thing I've learned throughout my whole life experience is unconditional love is unconditional love. Like a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people haven't learned that, right? But once you do harness that and find that out in life, and I only know of it because of what I've been blessed to been able to receive from the great creator, because I had to ask for so much forgiveness and to be spared life and to be in this position to where we can constantly give and show more love and show that we have a unity and a duty in this life that is so special. Hey man, that's all I can do. And I hope that this love, unconditional love that I have that is bestowed upon me from the great creator is instilled within you to show somebody today and the next and the next and every single moment that you have, that you care and that you love, because that's the best gratitude that you can show to the great creator.
We love you, Cam.
Love you too, bro.
Never give
Must
up.
be.
Love is
Love you,
the
Cam.
greatest
They
command.
they say never give up, bro, but I think there's gonna be some times where you have to give up. You know what I'm saying?
Nope. Never give up.
Man, I don't
It's
know,
not
bro.
necessarily giving up if you're just moving on. There is a difference.
You can lose a battle, but you never give up. You can be knocked down, but you still stand up.
Yeah.
You never lose.
It's not about.
I call it
It's
No,
all
I call it
choices.
regrouping.
So it's not about getting knocked down. It's about getting back up.
It's all choices.
Yeah.
Because choices bring changes and changes bring choices. And when you think you've made a mistake, you make another choice. And sometimes it's just a redirection. So you never lose.
Right.
You just
Hey,
step back
Cam.
and regroup.
I'm on a Lyra's headset. I gotta
cool.
say this.
Finally.
I got to, man. So how many days was Christ in the desert?
40.
He's there 40 days. On the 41st day, the devil fled. How many years was the Israelites looking for the promised land? 40.
40.
And the 41st year, they made it to the promised land. How many days did Goliath terrorize the Israelites? 40. On the 41st day,
40? Really?
David came and slew the giant. So, you know, it's always that test that God gives us, that the great creator gives us. It's always 40. It's that 41st day. He's expecting you to get back up.
If it takes 40 days to change a habit and create a new one.
That's what's up. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right.
So
So
that 41st day, keep loving.
straight up. So what I wanted to do is, who's got updates for this week as far as everything that's going on?
Bob. Let me hear about Bob.
Yeah, Bob, what you got going on, Papa?
Got to go back on Tuesday to make my pleading on the unlawful discharge of a firearm on the 4th of July.
Okay. Well, why don't you let us know what happened this week, though? How'd it go? Run us down.
There wasn't much. You guys helped me get the motion for dismissal put together. Very good paperwork. Thank you, Cam. I filed.
James. Thank you, James.
Yes, James. And
Thank you,
all.
everybody.
Yes, that's exactly right. Thank you, Wisedome. And so they wouldn't, basically it was just come in, pay your ticket, and they wouldn't do anything because the judge wasn't in there until next week, which is this coming week. So there wasn't anything to do except turn in the paperwork. They said they would give me a call if they accepted the motion for dismissal.
Okay, so this right here, I think on the screen is what we're looking at, which is a motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction and defective charging instrument.
Yes.
Let's see. So we have to the honorable court comes now defendant Bob, creator endowed rights, lack of subject matter and defective charging instrument based upon the constitutional and statutory grounds set forth. Your special appearance, statement of facts. You brought in everything as far as your address. Citation contains no allegations establishing the Oregon State Parks and Recreation Department has jurisdiction over the alleged location. This court lacks subject matter jurisdiction over the alleged offense. What else we got in this thing? We got a charging instrument is fatally defective and failure to state an offense. in which relief may be granted. Correct? You know, throwing in that Carl Miller. The Oregon revised statutes, charging instrument as any written instrument sufficient under the law to charge a person with an offense. The emphasis on sufficient under the law requires that the charging instrument contain adequate factual allegations. Charging
They don't.
instrument actually violates constitutional due process. Got that in there.
Yep.
We get the prosecution has failed to establish the essential elements of venue and jurisdiction. Another claim brought forth as far as creator endowed rights and natural law principles prohibit defective prosecutions. What else we got in this thing? The charging instrument also fails to meet Oregon's statutory requirements. And then our prayer for relief is that they grant the motion for dismissal based on subject matter, defective charging instrument, declare that this court lacks jurisdiction, declare that the charging instrument fails to state an offense under Oregon law, declare that the charging instrument violates constitutional due process, dismiss with prejudice, and order return of any seized property. More information with a certificate of service. So go ahead, Bob.
No, I think it's pretty well beats them to the ground that they have no case to stand on. This is the third time they've been out for the same thing. And the first time they were explained the statute that it's doesn't apply. And they said, yeah, you're right. We'll see you later. So the last two times they basically, I think, have lost any qualified immunity because first time they were explained and they acknowledged that they lack jurisdiction here. There's now no foul, no crime, and they left. So the last two times they've been out here, basically knowing that they have no jurisdiction, yet they continue to come out and misinterpret the reading of the statute,
Right.
and threaten to confiscate my property unlawfully. And it's just been quite a stressful situation.
Right.
Yeah. I know.
Biggest thing for that, Bob, is that the statute they cited you on doesn't even meet any of the elements. Like, it's for ocean shore, not a floodplain. Not you weren't on the recreational park when you did that.
I know. I have video of them saying, "Oh, we won't tell you what it's for until we write it on the ticket, and then we'll kind of throw it out the window as we drive away." They didn't.
Well, my thing is, again, where's the evidence?
Yeah,
That's why
I don't know.
Here's charging instrument.
Somebody called in. I haven't gotten the actual call to the dispatch that called them out here.
Where's the evidence? Anybody can say anything. At this point right now, it's just hearsay.
Yeah.
It's all
There is
hearsay.
no evidence.
There's no evidence.
They like to make
Go ahead.
they like to make charges and can't prove it.
Yeah, that's what I need to do when I go to court on Monday or Tuesday. I mean, they're going to say enter a plea if they haven't already dismissed it. And I'm going to say you lack jurisdiction, and until you can, once I challenge jurisdiction, don't they have to?
No, don't say don't they. Don't say don't they. You say with authority. Once jurisdiction has been challenged, the state has a responsibility to prove it on the record and not just by stating it. I've challenged both personam, personal, and subject matter.
Right. Once I challenge jurisdiction.
Yeah. The burden has been shifted.
Right. They can't make me it's a done deal. They have to stop right there. And then another higher court has to establish jurisdiction. They can't just say, oh yeah, we've got jurisdiction.
Right. That's straight up. That's hobby.
You have to stand
And
firm on
Panama-
it too.
And they'll tell you, I have jurisdiction, so you have to challenge it every single time.
Yeah.
Prove it.
Yes.
Tell them,
Yeah.
And they-
tell them no, the
stating it over
Supreme
and over.
Court has jurisdiction.
And they can't say you have to enter a plea. And
Yeah.
if I refuse to
Yeah,
enter,
you're texting on your phone too, so what's the difference? I see
I'm
you
not
do it.
Here's a
here
good little phrase to give
I'm
you.
here to challenge jurisdiction.
And you
Solely
will
for
likely,
jurisdiction.
As well,
likely you will have to go back to court 3 or 4 times challenging jurisdiction before they will hear you.
won't they have to make or my paperwork is in, won't they have to make a ruling on my motion?
yes. And also,
Yeah, but
another thing you
they can drag you back into court 3 or 4 times before they give you a motions hearing. And you just keep challenging jurisdiction.
Now
Well,
you
and
say
another
dragging them.
thing you
Hold
can
on.
say to them.
Go ahead,
before
Uncle.
I make a pleading, won't they have to rule on my motion?
Okay, wait, hold on.
Okay.
Okay,
Correct.
so you gotta, like Todd just said, like you gotta. He said they gonna keep pulling you back into court, but see, don't let them pull you back into court. You pull them into court.
How?
Do you hear? Did you just say how?
Well, I pull them back into court. Don't
How do
they
you pull them into court? How do you pull them into court?
filing
Filing what?
what
No,
see, I don't know what I
no.
do.
A notice of hearing. A notice of hearing. You call forth the hearing in which you want. So let's say I'm bringing forth for suppression, or let's say I'm bringing a motion to dismiss, or let's say I'm bringing appeal of particulars, or let's say I'm wanting to get into an evidentiary hearing. Anything that you want, you got to bring forth in a notice of hearing document. Bring forth this hearing. You move the court. You're the one in control. You've always been in control. You're like, oh, well, until they pull me back in. No, you pulled them back in. I already filed a motion to dismiss with a memorandum to support with points and authorities. So I would like to call a hearing for that, and we need to discuss all the points here and there within. That's how you got to do it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's how you got to do it.
And another thing you can tell them too, when they're trying to make you take a plea, how can you make a plea to a claim that has not even been properly alleged? There is no claim to plea to at this time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All I have is an ORS number with no real.
Yeah, there's
If
All
they,
right.
the injured party. Where's the facts being met?
All right. So let me ask this: who's in here new for the first time, or just has never really properly introduced themselves?
It'd probably be me.
All
David.
right. Come
Yeah, I'm
on.
David McCardle from Brandon, Mississippi. So I've been dealing with my first traffic violations, like 5 of them. So went to court on Thursday, and the prosecutor asked me if I wanted to stand behind the bar. I said, of course. So I didn't even have to ask for that. They kind of directed me, to stand behind the bar or inside of the bar. So I, of course, chose behind the bar. Then kind of did my opening statement. I had to fight for that because the judge just started rambling on about the charges, and I tried to stop him once and he didn't stop. So after he was done, I just, I went off with my opening statement. Then he said, well, what document are we going over today? I said, well, the notice and demand for dismissal was the last one that I submitted. And so we kind of went through that a little bit, and then I motioned to dismiss a lack of jurisdiction. And then he said that they had jurisdiction. And I said, well, I need that on the record. He said, well, this is not a court of record. I said, well, that's another violation because you're supposed to provide a record in case this needs to be appealed to a higher court. So that's another violation.
What did he say?
He didn't say anything after that.
Ooh, got him. Got him. Keep going.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of the next thing he went over. He was talking, he tried to get me to admit to a person. I said, no, I'm not a person. That's a fictitious entity. I said, I'm the real man standing here. And so we kind of got past that. Trying to think of what else he said that, the police officer didn't even show up. So he wasn't there at all. He said he was out sick.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah. So we just
So
kind
they
of,
set it for trial. Wait,
Yeah.
wait. Let's get this right. So we got to clarify some things with David. He out in Mississippi. Okay. David, you got your window broken, right?
correct.
Okay. Why did you get your window broken?
Because I wouldn't get out of the vehicle, and I kept telling him because there's no crime been committed. I said, you give me a crime and I'll open the door.
All right, David. Did you have a weapon in the car?
I did, but and they searched my vehicle and found it, but they didn't do anything about it or say anything about it. They just
Was it
left
visible?
No,
Did you let them know you had a weapon in the car?
I did not. But on the video, they were talking about he has a carry permit. He didn't know if it was expired or not.
David, did you used to work for the fire department?
I did.
How long?
10 years.
Hmm.
For that city, actually.
For the same city that broke your window, huh?
Correct.
Okay. Did you ever go to arraignment, David?
I did not.
You never got to say, do you plead guilty or not guilty?
I did not. I brought that up to him as well.
Now, you're saying this is a court of no record?
No record.
Okay. Do y'all think we should just go ahead and see if we can get this venue changed up to a higher court?
Amen.
Plus at the end of the
No,
Whoa,
no,
whoa,
you
you
shouldn't.
say no?
Yeah, I'm saying no. This is Dan. I'm outside, so I don't have my camera on. But no, make them dismiss it there because they don't want it to go to a higher court.
Listen, you
But
know that this municipal court is not a court of record and does not honor the Constitution, correct?
Correct. They're already violating
they
his due
mu-
process.
but they do fear it when it's brought
No.
up right.
No.
Don't
I will go
we-
right into my municipal court right now and I will let the judge that was there tell you that they don't care about the Constitution.
It's administrative.
No.
That's why.
They don't care. It's not
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with them. They don't care. That's how it works. They've never stated in their creation of what they were doing, we're going to honor the Constitution in what we're doing. Never. You won't be able to find it. Do you have a contract that you've brought up, a notice of liability that you've brought up to the city stating I'm rebutting on presumptions? There are things that are presumed upon you that are rebuttable presumptions. I had Brandon share it not too long ago.
Yeah, I put in a testimony in the form of an affidavit rebutting the 12 presumptions of law.
Let me see if I can find it.
That was filed,
Wait a
and
minute, Camp.
they
There's a lot more than 12.
Oh yeah,
The judges took an oath to
One
uphold the Constitution. So that even though it's administrative, they still have an oath.
Correct.
In fact, if you look for their oath and you find out, like I did, that their oath was invalid, then they're doing something illegal.
All right, so let's look at the presumption of residency. I'm about to. Wow. Okay. The presumption of residency. For the purpose of this chapter, there is a rebuttable presumption that a natural person is a resident of this state if any of the following elements exist. A. The person has filed for a homestead tax exemption on property in this state. B. The person is a veteran who has filed for a military tax exemption on property in this state. C. The person is registered to vote in this state. D. The person enrolls the person's child to be educated in the public elementary or secondary school in this state. E. The person is receiving public assistance from this state. F. The person resides or has continuously remained in this state for a period exceeding 30 days except for infrequent or brief absences. G. The person has accepted employment or engaged in any trade, profession, or occupation within this state. 2A. For purposes of issuing commercial learner's permits. Commercial learner's permits. I don't see anything about no direct aspect of using, I'm not even getting into it. And commercial driver's licenses under this chapter. Again, there is a rebuttable presumption that a natural person is a resident of this state if all of the following conditions exist. If all of the following conditions exist. Read it very specifically. If all, not and or. The person is enrolled in a commercial driver's license training program administered by Iowa Motor Carrier or its subsidiary motor carrier. Y'all talking about motor carriers work? DOT's work? Bro, what? Or its subsidiary designed by the department as a third party. A person is in the process of applying. The person is residing in the state for a duration for the training. A resident does not include either of the following: a person who is attending a college or university in the state, a member of the armed forces, a corporation, association, partnership, company, firm, or other aggregation of individuals whose principal place of business is located within the state as a resident of the state. But again, for the purposes of the chapter, there is a rebuttable presumption. You got to rebut that shit. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Go get that book, that PDF. Rebut that shit.
Yeah.
There is a rebuttable presumption. All right. I'm back. So who else we got in here new for the first time?
Hey, Cam, I wanted to throw something else in there. I had filed the the foreign grantor paperwork.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all have ever seen that Anna Von Ritz puts out. I had done that like 3 or 4 months ago. So I filed that the same court date when I went in there Thursday. And he was looking through it during the court, and he asked me, he said, "Did you renounce your citizenship?" I said, "Yes, sir," because that paperwork showed him that I had renounced my citizenship. So I don't know if that is going to help me out very much, or they're still called me back to court. So for the 26th, I gotta go back, and they said the police officer should be there, but we'll see.
Now, how would you plan to argue that?
That I'm a non-citizen. I'm not in any of their contracts, so I'm a American national standing on the land and soil, not a fictitious entity.
Can I ask a question?
What's that?
Do you have electricity on your property?
Yes.
Then that's a contract.
Okay.
All those little contracts like that have to be rebutted and sent to the state.
But who has the contract, the straw man or the real man?
And yeah.
When you go into court here, if you haven't defined a different address for the private person versus the public person, then they use the assumption, and that you have to rebut that assumption too of residency of citizen, all that.
Okay.
Well, that's why it's important to set up like a sole proprietor and just operate from your sole proprietor.
I have electricity on my property, but it's solar.
That's how I do it. I just operate from my sole proprietor. No contracts come through my social. It's all through the sole proprietor.
What about a business trust, Cam? You ever look into that?
I mean, yeah, there's all kinds of trusts. We developed the Cook Islands Business Trust. That is a business trust. So
is that available to us?
That's in the Discord under the trust game. You'll see it say Cook Islands Trust.
Ah, thank you.
You're welcome.
The PMA or a trust?
It's a full blown Cook Islands Trust, man. Go review.
That's a private business trust, isn't it?
Go look at the man. Listen,
Yeah, I have a private ministry trust that actually I had put the DOT tag number in under that ministry trust. So the tag was actually listed as a trust.
See, the thing is that the cops don't know enough about anything, bro. Y'all seeing how I'm deposing these people? They don't know nothing. Even the chief, he came from 30 years of law enforcement, and I'm over here questioning him. He don't know shit. Like, we ain't even watching none of that. Anyways, Aladdin, Sam, say what's up, bro. Come on up.
Oh, like a minute to unmute myself. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Okay, you don't mind I don't keep my camera off?
I mean, it'd be nice to see your face.
I'm just, early in the morning for me. Well, the thing is, I just want to say I'm really grateful for the space, man, because
you a dude, bro. You a dude. Bro.
Yeah.
Just come on and say hello.
Show us your face. We gotta see.
Show us your face.
Okay, sure. Here you go.
What's up, bro?
Pleasure to meet you all. It's a real. Let me go outside. It's a real joy.
Yo, bro.
You're beautiful. What are you talking about?
It's my little bedhead, Anyway,
the best head.
Huh?
Bedhead's the best head.
Yeah.
You look good.
You look great.
Okay, that was
like that.
Perfect.
I like that very much. Well, I guess I had a bunch of questions, but I'm a little nervous. I had a bunch of questions, but recently I guess I had this interaction with police officers, and I don't really know how to proceed because I've never been to court before, and I never sued anyone, and I tried to get their body cam footage, but it was 2 weeks ago, and they still haven't sent me anything. And long story short, I had a welfare check done on me, and so a police officer showed up outside my door, and and they asked me if I was, my Ensley, whatever. They asked me if I'm Sam and my last name and all that. And I didn't say yes, but I said, I know what this is about. Please leave. Maybe wasn't so warm about it, but then I tried closing the door in their face, and uninvited, they walked into my house. They handcuffed me, and I showed them I got my passport card. I'm not a U.S. citizen, and that didn't seem to matter to them. And they took me to a hospital, and they almost committed me there at the hospital. They said I didn't get a privilege to a phone call, which was ridiculous. And they took my blood and my urine. They coerced me into that, which I didn't want any of that. And now I'm getting like bills. I'm getting like charged like three. Thankfully, they let me go, but I had to pay for my own transportation back. And I'm getting bills like $3,000 or $4,000 for just being there for a few hours, like unwillingly, and all this stuff. And I'm not entirely sure if that was something I can pursue a case against. You know?
Yes.
100% you can.
Don't pay them bills.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm
you're
not-
in the right place.
That's fraud.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pay.
If they garnish your wages, take them to court then, and then we can definitely have a good lawsuit, especially if they don't give you due process for garnishing your wages.
Did they actually have you sign anything? Did you have to sign anything?
I think I signed something when I was leaving, but of course I did the UCC 1-308 without prejudice, and you
Good.
know, that sort of stuff. So
You had no contract with them. You got forced into it, so it was not voluntary.
and they did step into I'm renting the place, but they did step into the house without a warrant and uninvited. And
Was the landlord there since you're renting?
No.
Okay, good.
No, they weren't here.
Did
But mainly, really,
how long ago was this?
Huh? Oh, this was maybe like 3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay,
And
good. You got some time.
I
Have they
asked for
charged
advice.
you? Are you charged with something?
No, it was all based on this welfare call. By someone I don't know. And
Did you tell them you don't consent? Say, I don't want you in my house. Did you
maybe I
say
didn't say I
no?
don't consent, but I said, yeah, I don't want this. Like,
Yeah, that's
I don't,
okay.
I was a little overwhelmed. I've never really been in
You
that
said no.
situation.
You said, I don't want you in here.
No, yeah, and maybe, yeah. So
did they have to sort of push their way in a little bit?
Yeah, I was closing the door on them, and they just came inside, and they handcuffed me immediately. And
Okay.
they said
You
if
got a
I,
case.
You
got a case.
They handcuffed you?
Sorry?
For a welfare check, they handcuffed you?
That's fucked up.
Yeah, because I didn't come out and talk to them. I asked them to leave, and when they didn't leave, I closed the door in their face, or I was beginning to close the door in their face, and then they thought I had a weapon, which is not true. It was my phone, and
They didn't think you had a weapon.
Yeah, I was about to say
Nah,
they
they just fabricated a story.
Yeah, they're just
Who requested the welfare check?
Truth be told, I don't really want to get into it, but it wasn't like there was no implication that I would hurt anyone or anything. It was just like,
Did your family member?
It was a domestic violence thing?
no. It was a welfare check on me, not on anyone
By whom?
around me, because I live alone.
Who requested it?
Yeah, who called?
Truth be told,
Yo,
there's-
nobody judges here, bro. Everybody's been through everything in life, bro.
Yeah,
You want me to start telling you about the stupid shit I've been doing over the past 4 months, bro?
Was it like a family member? Just go easy. Was it a family member, a friend, or someone you know?
Yeah.
No,
Was it a neighbor?
It was just someone I was talking to, and
copy. All right,
and
cool.
And she was concerned for me, but still, that doesn't really give anyone the right.
Okay, so you were going through some tough times. Okay.
Yeah.
And someone decided they wanted to come physically put their hands on you.
Yeah, which of
Okay.
course makes the tough times better, right?
Right.
Good times, baby. Good times.
So you're telling me that you were harmed by somebody else unwillingly?
Well,
Like,
the thing
you
is,
didn't willingly want it, right?
Answer the question, bro.
No, I didn't willingly want any of this, and I made that very clear. And also, I was very clear.
Now, did you bring harm to yourself?
No, I did not.
Did you bring harm to others?
Certainly not. I would never ever do that.
Did you make any
Never.
threats?
No, it wasn't. There's never any implication of any threat toward anyone else. It was like,
Could it be taken as a threat?
not toward anyone else. The person who made the call, it was very clearly she was concerned about my specific well-being. It wasn't about anyone else. I would never. I don't. I like people.
Did the cops ask you if you're okay?
They did, and I asked them. I said, "I don't want you here. Please leave."
So what are they
No, but did you
charging you with?
answer? Did you answer? Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, I
Be clear.
well, I don't remember exactly what I said. I don't even have the body cam footage. They won't send it to me. And
yeah, we got to get that. You got a case,
Okay.
bro.
Were
Almost.
you
You got a case.
were you drinking?
At the time.
Were you intoxicated?
I was intoxicated. It wasn't alcohol, but I was intoxicated.
Okay, so no matter what, you always have that borderline of repairing yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's always foundational. It should never go below that. Okay? Never. That's the foundational aspect. Fix yourself, bro.
Right.
Fix yourself first on whatever's going on. Show that for yourself and then for the others. Okay?
Okay.
That right there is going to improve everything. That gives you the fight to win, right? Because you're in repair. The old John Mayer song. Okay? I'm in repair. You know what I'm talking about?
I've never heard it, but that sounds nice.
Yeah, it's a good song, bro. The whole Continuum by John Mayer is gonna get you right where you need to be, bro. By the end of it, you'll have cried a couple once, you know what I'm saying, and you'll be ready. You'll be ready.
I appreciate it. I guess my main thing concerning this is, all things considered, I'm okay. Not even like, at least right now, not even like pushing through with a court case, because all things considered, the worst they did was take my blood and my urine, which I didn't like, and charging me this that I'm not going to pay. But what I'm really concerned about is I showed them my passport, and they still arrested. Well, they still put me in handcuffs. They didn't arrest me. They still put me in handcuffs and almost committed me, where I'd have to they told me I'd have to take medication, or else if I wouldn't be able to leave. That's almost what it came to. And I really thought that the passport would protect me against just being held captive against my will.
Not yet.
That thing don't protect you from shit, bro. These people are wild out here. That's the point.
How can I stop that from happening in the future? Okay, yeah. Okay.
You got to bring forth the suit now, dude.
Yeah, and they also got your DNA and everything else against your will.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to bring a suit, bro, or you got to bring an injunction.
There's a bill in front of the Oregon legislature that'll allow police officers to take DNA samples on certain crimes.
Well, I don't think he was being hit with a crime. What you got charged?
No, what I'm saying is that there's a bill that will allow police to take your DNA from you on certain.
I get that.
Yeah,
but what
it was repugnant of the Constitution then.
They can make any kind of bill they want. They can make any kind of law they want to just violate the Constitution. We cannot accept that.
Sam, what was you charged with? Was you charged with any crime?
I wasn't charged with anything. With anything.
So you're just talking about the experience that you went through is making you want to bring forth a civil suit.
I don't know, because the thing is, I have no idea. Look, the main thing is I just want to make sure that nothing like this can ever happen to me or anyone I love. That's I was really surprised that they could do this, and it could have gotten a lot worse. I don't know. I want to prevent this from happening in the future. And I thought the passport card would protect me, and apparently it didn't. So I want to learn what I can to stop, basically unlawful, I don't know if it's arrest, detainment, or
it's arrest.
Arrest, yeah.
Took your freedom and you were not free to go.
Holding them accountable, bringing charges is the only thing that is going to help in the future, that this doesn't happen to hopefully our children or our grandchildren.
Well, they won't give me any body cam footage. I requested it a couple times.
You're in the right place. Place.
Okay.
We do it in the form of a notice and demand and formalize it. And if they still won't do it, then we do it under discovery.
It also might be how it's worded. And sometimes they might. Did they reply at all to say, hey, it's going to take 3 weeks or anything? Or just absolutely no reply?
They didn't. I mean, yeah,
Okay, yeah,
it
then
was only like 2 weeks ago, so maybe they'll send it later. I don't know.
yeah, for
Yeah.
the first times, usually it's like 3 weeks. The more you
Okay.
pester them, the more likely they'll get to it.
Okay. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, I just started this whole process, and I did like a lot of progress. Like, for example, I already got rid of my registration, my certificate of title, my license plates. I got the diplomatic plates. I got no driver's license, all in like a week or two. My passport card, all this, my regular passport. But they're not very responsive. Like, I tried requesting the MCO. That was like a week or 2 weeks ago. I heard nothing. I also heard nothing about them deleting. Once I sent my, registration and all this stuff, I sent it with the affidavit that says they have to delete all that information. They never got back to me about any of that too. So it's just like I'm facing like brick walls, I guess. I don't know. No one's really communicating.
No, it's what everybody goes through. It's all the same.
I'll just say, I'm going to make a suggestion, man. Just go ahead. Purchase this book, Self-Government. Self-Govern yourself, bro.
Self-govern,
I'm telling
bro.
you. It enlightens
yourself?
Get it. It's Cal's book, man. And you,
Okay.
all the questions that you have will be answered.
Okay. All right.
The solution should be there. I mean, we're
Self-government.
here. Yeah, self-government, bro.
Okay.
It's on Cal's website.
Great title.
Man, man, I'm telling you, and we're here. And the support group is here.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I appreciate
On
it.
Amazon. It's on Amazon.
So,
it's on
it's
Amazon.
it's on Amazon too. I mean, I didn't know it's on Amazon, but shit's on Amazon too. So
He's also got all on the shop listing. So
Here, bro. The links in the
Sam.
chat, bro. The links in the chat, bro.
Thank you.
There you
I found
go.
it on Amazon.
Sam.
I have I'll get a copy. Thank you so much.
The one thing I want you to remember, Sam, when you go through building this case, because you have a huge case against these people for what's called irreparable harm. You're going through a hard time. And instead of actually doing a welfare check and going, are you okay, and taking that as what it is, they trespassed upon you and caused even more irreparable harm to your hard times already.
Escalate what it was already. When you're down, they're kicking you harder. Yeah.
Exacerbation.
It was kind of funny
Well,
that
and
they
I
all
think you will
they all
punish
thought like it was going to make me better. That's the most ironic thing. Anyway, whatever. I'm not going to get into that right now. Yeah.
You stop it from happening again by making sure you file a federal lawsuit of some sort, or whatever's going to be.
Hoorah on this thing.
You can do a tort.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all your advice.
For sure.
Has Yahuwah Aaron ever come up and talked yet?
He came in here super earlier, but we threw on Jerry Day, and I ain't heard him say anything from there. What else we got going on?
I was gonna say I want to introduce myself. Also, this is my first time here. I don't know if y'all can hear me.
Hi, KJ.
What's going on?
Welcome.
Yeah, I just wanted to say what's up. Say that I'm glad to be here. I'm definitely loving all of the information so far. This entire platform. Everybody contributing. This is major for me. So I'm like sitting here right now taking notes for my own situation. But yeah, it's definitely good to be here and seeing everybody kind of putting together all of this effort. This is major.
What's your case?
Welcome, KJ.
Appreciate it.
Yep, the group, man.
Appreciate you. I got a marijuana case in Indiana that I caught on the 16th of last month. Got stopped leaving Planet Fitness. I just moved to this area from Illinois. Got stopped. I did like a 4-hour class working on some. It's crazy, like the similarities to the last guy, Sam, that was just talking. I was working on like a lot of stuff for the citizenship, a status correction, a lot of legal documents and some trust documents. Spent like 4.5 hours on the course doing that. Went to the gym on 15th, like midnight, leaving the gym 1:30 in the morning, right around the corner from where we just moved to here. I was in a family member's vehicle, didn't have the lights on. As soon as I pull out of the gym parking lot, I see the headlights behind me. I'm like, oh, that's a cop. And then he immediately hits his lights, pulls me over. I got all the windows down. I have my shirt on my shoulder, my t-shirt on my shoulder. So I just got like an undershirt on. Direction that I'm coming from, the parking lot I'm coming from, the only thing that's open over there is the gym. So I know he had to know where I was coming from. So he comes up to the car. He's like, hey, what's up, man? Couldn't tell what was going on. Couldn't tell what was up with your lights. Your lights working? What's going on? Immediately he said that, and I realized, oh yeah, like I haven't been in a car in a week or so. Again, it's someone else's car that I do have, authority to drive or whatever. Hit the light stop. This is all within like 10 seconds. Him coming to the car, got the flashlight in my face. I hit the light stop. He doesn't even turn to look back at the tail lights. He's like, were your tail lights on? So I hit the lights. He doesn't look back, and then he's like, all right, license, registration, all this other stuff. I happen to get the whole thing on camera, so this is actually the video. Super thankful to still have this video, because it's like Sam was saying also, I put in records requests, didn't get body cam, anything it's been about 10 days now. I got one email back asking for more information, and none of my records have actually been produced.
What up, boss? What's going on? No, I'm stopping you. No. Your lights are off in the back. You got your lights turned on all the way? Yeah, I couldn't see. I'm like, shit, who's driving like that? You got your license, registration, proof of insurance?
I'm just traveling to my home. I'm not driving, brother.
What's that?
I'm not driving. I'm traveling to my home.
You are driving?
I'm not.
Okay. Are you gonna not give me an ID?
I'm not driving, sir.
Okay. County
I'm also recording. Just
send me
so
another
you know.
unit. I'm 10-4. Okay, you realize that you have to have a driver's license.
May I have your name, sir?
Officer Boyle, badge number 645.
Thank you,
with
sir.
the Lake County Sheriff's Department.
Can you just call a lieutenant or a sergeant, whoever your superior is?
Okay.
I would like to just continue traveling to my home.
You
privately.
cannot keep traveling until I see your driver's license. Do you understand that driving at night? Wait a second. I'm being respectful, okay? Do you understand that driving at night without your lights is an infraction in the state of Indiana? That means that you have to provide a driver's license.
So you're telling me that I've committed a crime?
If you do not provide, that's an infraction. If you do
Can
not,
I ask you what crime I committed?
I'm telling you, it's an infraction for
Can
you
I
not
ask
to
you
have.
what crime I committed, sir?
Right. If you don't give me an ID, that's a crime.
Sir.
It's called failure to identify. Failure to identify.
Failure to identify.
Yes.
If you already suspect me of a crime.
I don't suspect you of a crime. You committed an
So
infraction.
you don't suspect me of a crime, correct?
Can you step out of the vehicle for me?
Do you suspect me of a crime?
If you don't give me your ID, that is a crime.
What crime do you initially suspect me of to ask me for identification, sir?
An infraction. An infraction, you must provide your ID.
Sir, please call your superior out here.
Okay. I don't have. Okay, I'm gonna ask for him, but I'm letting you know that I do not.
I'm asking
wait,
you.
Let me continue talking.
I'm asking you, sir, to please call your superior.
Okay. 522 from 645, just for 43. He's asking for a supervisor. Refusing to get out of the vehicle.
I haven't refused anything, sir.
Okay, step out of the vehicle.
I haven't refused anything, sir.
Go ahead and step
Sir.
out of the vehicle for
Sir.
me. I'm not gonna ask you again.
Sir, what crime do you suspect me to have committed?
Step out of the vehicle. I'm not gonna tell you again.
What emergency?
Listen, last time.
Sir.
I'm giving you your last time. Step out of the vehicle.
Sir.
Step out of the vehicle.
I will give you my identification.
You need to give it to me now, or else you're getting charged with failure to identify.
I will give you my identification.
Okay.
But sir, you haven't named a crime at all.
Step out of the vehicle.
Sir, I'll give you my
Step out of the
identification.
vehicle.
What crime?
I'm still telling you.
What
step
crime
out
do
of
you
the
suspect?
vehicle. Step out of the vehicle.
What crime do you suspect?
Give me your ID.
Here you are.
And step out
Sir.
of the vehicle.
Sir, I'm waiting for your supervisor, sir. I'm waiting for your supervisor.
Sheesh. Homie.
Yeah,
Nice cliffhanger.
There's a little bit more.
Oh, cool.
A little bit.
Thankfully. Please don't get
What happened to the I asked him.
Sir,
please,
sir, don't do this.
away from me.
Please, sir. Please, sir. Sir, why are you doing this, sir? Sir, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? My hands.
What would you like me to do, sir?
Put your hands behind your back.
They're behind my back.
You stop for
You pulled me out so
I haven't
fast.
resisted you at all, sir. I haven't resisted you. Your failure.
He's got him, bro.
Man.
So, what about this one?
Sitting there like fumbling around. He wasn't even putting the handcuff.
You got your
Like, what you want me to do, bro?
this one. Why's it all red though? Like that?
Just picking up.
That me?
This is just picking up the vehicle the next day. Yeah.
Oh, really?
There's really nothing important here. This is just us. Picking up the
No, that's
vehicle.
smart that you record it before you entered.
Thankfully, no damage to the vehicle. Everything is all good.
Well, they ain't gonna be messing your shit up like that. What's the Snapchat for? What's this one?
This was just the video. I was at the gym before all of this happened. I recorded myself at the gym that day, which is like something I never do. But I was there at 1 o'clock in the morning. There was nobody else in there, so I'm like, I didn't know if like I would need this going forward of my demeanor. Like I was cool, calm in the gym. It was a regular day for me, you know.
So then, what you got going on is we developed some things together already, right?
I do have. First of all, I super appreciate it because again, I was going from the GPT. You kind of like blew my mind over the last couple of days with this new software, the Madness. Still figuring everything out, but yeah, what you produced for me was great. And so like the task that you gave me after our meeting was to reach out to the prosecutor, and I had a call script and an email script, which again, it's right up my alley. With the case in particular, they locked me up. They locked me up like 12 hours. I didn't get a phone call, didn't get to talk to my people. I have durable power of attorney over my principal, over my estate, my ens legis. I also have durable power of attorney over 2 senior disabled veterans that I care for. Again, the car was one of theirs. They basically got extorted from the courthouse to the impound lot, about $600 altogether. They had to, again, we're new to the state of Indiana. Hadn't registered the car here, wasn't planning on registering the car here. That car that you all just saw in the video right there, yeah, they basically extorted my mom into registering her car in Indiana just so we could get it out of the impound lot for, again, this bogus charge. Again, all of this happened July 16th, 1 o'clock in the morning. I got out maybe like 1:30 p.m., close to 2 o'clock p.m. the same day. My family came up there like by, I guess, 7 that morning. They realized, there's only a handful of places I could be. The gym that I was at was like 4 minutes from the house. It was like just out of walking distance. So at some point they realized, okay, call the police department. So I guess they started calling around 7 in the morning, several of my family members, and we're all getting told he's in here being belligerent. He's being combative. I'm 5'6". I'm not fighting no cops back. You know what I mean? And again, my demeanor in those videos right there, that was as high as my voice went. I didn't cuss at anybody, anything. I definitely didn't make any threats or anything like that. Before they transported me from the scene, I mean, you can see how kind of unsure the officer himself was in the moment. The corporal showed up. She finally shows up. And she's saying stuff like, you're, let me guess, you don't understand anything, right? Well, let me let you know before you say anything. Your lack of understanding doesn't have anything to do. This is Indiana. This isn't Chicago. You don't have any rights here. And this is the sheriff's office. We're elected officials. All of that sovereign stuff, your rights don't matter here, all this other stuff. So I'm like,
Wait, she said this isn't Chicago?
I'm from the suburbs of Chicago, brother. So it's like, again, the stuff that she pulls up immediately on a rant as I'm cuffed in the back of the car, and I just let her rant. And then I'm like, okay, ma'am, is your body cam rolling? Oh yeah, it's rolling. I'm like, again, I have to let you know, I don't consent to anything. They're flipping the car. All of this is, I'm watching it through the dash cam of the officer's car that stopped me. And I'm like, can I just let you know, like, I don't consent to any of this. Like, I don't have any contracts with the state of Indiana. I don't, and again, I don't consent. I'm not a U.S. citizen. My first mess up, other than, not saying everything that I should have been saying, should have been asking in that video that you all saw. Hey, am I detained? Am I free to go? Is there an emergency? What's going on? But again, this is kind of, I'm flustered in the moment he caught me leaving the gym. And I also don't have my paperwork on me. I don't have a passport. I do have an Illinois ID. I did have that on me at the time. And like I was saying, toward the end of that first video, when he snatched the door open and then stepped in, at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just pull the ID out and give it to him. At that point, he's threatening me. You know what I mean? Completely forgot that I have a vape cartridge in my pocket from leaving the gym. A 1 gram weed vape is maybe like less than a third of this vape left. So we're talking about $5 worth of weed altogether. Again, when I reach into the pocket for my wallet, that falls out. So he sees that. That's when he's like, his voice lower. He's like, step out of the car. So he sees that. I'm like, no, I'm waiting for your supervisor. So that's when it goes to the second video. He yanks me out and everything. So okay, fast forward. He asked me in the back of his car. He pats me down. The corporal comes up. It's her and like 4 other officers standing around her. They're talking to me in the back of the car. I'm letting her know, hey, are you telling me I'm not able to reserve any of my rights? I'm not able to amend any contract that I may have in the moment or something. Like, I'm under duress right now. What's going on? And is your body cam roll? All of their body cams are rolling. She's like, but you don't have any rights right here. You're dealing with the sheriff's office. So I'm like, okay. Asking other officers for their badge numbers and stuff like that. The ones coming up now, they're not giving me any of their information. She's like, yeah, you're contracted. So she gets my Illinois ID from the officer. She's like, I thought you said you didn't have any contract. I thought you said you didn't have any ID. I said, I didn't have an Indiana ID. She's like, no, now you're lying to us. So then at this point, I'm thinking, I haven't even been Mirandized. So like, is she asking me questions? So at a certain point, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not getting anywhere with her. She said, your lack of understanding. She's like, do you understand that you're under our jurisdiction? I'm like, of course not. And again, even if I was, I don't consent to anything going further. I'm revoking it. You can't revoke any consent in the moment. You're under arrest already. I'm like, okay. At some point we get on the topic of, again, I don't have any contracts with Indiana, and Indiana's a corporate. She says Indiana. I'm like, you talking about the corporation or you talking about the Republic of Indiana? The officers behind her bust out laughing. This guy thinks it's a corporation. She's like, no, it's a corporation, but again, you can't revoke any consent. You don't have any rights dealing with the sheriff. We're elected officials. She was lecturing me on that. So I'm like, all right. They slammed the door on me. The officer that stopped me that you all saw in the video busts a U-turn, starts transporting me to the jail. I don't know if the light was red or not, but he runs through an almost red light. Gets a message on the computer, takes both hands off the wheel. He's messaging and driving. I'm asking him, hey, are you supposed to be doing stuff like that? And again, the same kind of nervousness that he had for a 45-minute drive. He's taking me all through kind of back roads and stuff till we get to the jail. We get to the jail, and as he's bringing me through intake, he's saying, he stops me as he pulls me out the car, and he's walking me through the first doors of the intake. He stops me. He's like, hey, I just had to let you know, I wasn't trying to be a dick to you or anything like that. You got to abide by the laws, and it's about safety and all this other shit or whatever, like some random shit. And I'm like, okay, I just want to let you know, whatever the case, this is going to get litigated. You're going to show up to court, right? He's like, yeah, no, I have to be there for sure. I just wanted to let you know. It's nothing personal. I'm like, all right, whatever. So he takes me in, and then it's like the same thing they have at the airport, the X-ray scanner. So now it's other officers in there. He walks in a different room. I'm in the intake getting patted down by a female officer, and it's a male officer standing behind me. And he's like, all right, get in the fucking scanner. I'm like, hey, I just have to let you know, I don't consent to this. I'm not a U.S. citizen. I don't know what that machine does. Get in that fucking scanner. Get in that. They take off on me. So, and this dude has a mask on, can't really see his face. They make me get in the scan. It's officers in the back that I can't even see. They're screaming. Mind you, it's like 2-something in the morning at this point. Get in the fucking scan. We're not fucking doing that sovereign citizen shit. We don't play that shit here. So I'm like, all right, I get in the machine. I jump out of that. They lead me to another machine. It's like a retinal scanner. They're like, all right, put your fucking face in front of that. I'm like, hey, I have to let you know. I don't know what that does. I don't consent. Get in front of the machine. I do that. They get 3 officers on me. They cuff me up and they walk me to the medical unit. I get in front of the nurse. They cuff me to the table in front of this lady. So I'm like, all right, let me crack some jokes with this lady and kind of calm things down a little bit. It's an older nurse. As soon as they sit me down in front of her, she's doing all of this stuff. So I'm like, what's going on? I'm cuffed to the table in front of her. I'm like, you having a long day? What's going on? She was like, I worked there 12 years. The software to log you in, it's frozen. This has never happened. I worked here 12 years. So I'm cracking jump. That's a sign. I'm not supposed to be here. So she, yeah, all right, whatever. So we're going back and forth like maybe 10, 15 minutes. I asked her at one point, are you a believer? She, yeah, sometimes. Okay. So again, I'm come to the table. I'm just having random conversation with her. You probably see crazy people all the time. You all, oh yeah, the worst of the worst, blah, 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 all this other stuff. Okay, cool. And then at a certain point, it pops in my head, okay, you go to jail, they're gonna make you take a TB test. Again, I gotta get on camera. I don't consent to that. So I'm like, are you gonna make me, take any sort of shot as anything like this when your software starts working? She's like, oh yeah, right here. It's right here. She grabs it off a dirty desk next to her. She's like, yeah, you got to take a TB shot. I'm like, hey, respectfully, under my religion, I can't consent to that. She's like, what? I'm like, I can't be penetrated while I'm here. I refuse all of that. She walks out the room. She comes back. I'm like, what's going on? She comes back with a bunch of papers, sets them down in front of me. And it's like, defendant consent to medical procedure, some shit like that. And I saw that and I stopped reading. And I'm like, again, respectfully, I can't do anything with that. She's like, oh, okay, so you don't want to consent to the shot? I'm like, again, no, ma'am, I can't. Under my religion, I can't. She walks out the room. She's like, don't worry about it. You'll be here. You're not gonna see a judge until you take the shot.
That's fucked up.
She walks out.
They're not. They have no right to force medical on you like that.
No.
Yeah, you don't know what they're putting in you.
What state and county is this?
Lake County, Indiana, northern Indiana.
A medical facility, or was it just like some?
This was at the jail. This was like the intake at the jail. They make they have like a intake area just for the medical stuff.
Nobody know what the hell that was. That's crazy.
Yeah,
and again,
I never even got that when I was taken to jail.
That would be rape.
I've done time. I've never got no shit like that ever.
That's forced poisoning.
Yeah, it might be
getting worse and worse, man. They're just getting worse every day.
And they target melanin. So the darker your melanin, they know you got protection. So that's why they try to jab y'all. I get it. It's fuckery at its finest.
Hey, Cam.
That's the truth.
Cam, couldn't he go federal with that to the Health and Human Services?
Who says, quote, Ukrainians
Cam?
will not gift their land to the occupier. Does that
sound
to you?
Cam.
You're nowhere close to a deal.
Wait for a moment. The more I've been thinking about it, why not start on the tort level? Because you're within this. I don't know if it's 6 months or a year or whatever the torts are, but torts are the standard forms, if I'm not mistaken, because that's what I did with the VA before I was in this other situation. And I'm actually within a month of the 6 month mark. So I'm actually thinking about putting it all together in a tort.
Sure.
Because that actually triggers an investigation, if I'm not mistaken. Because they have to investigate. But that's just one avenue that I'm thinking out loud because I was reflecting on it yesterday.
Can I make a comment about insurance? If you have insurance and the jail forced some kind of shot or something on you, you're supposed to be able to go to your insurance company, file a complaint, and the insurance company goes back to them to find out what happened.
Well, I guess the better question for that one would be, did you actually have to get the jab, or did they not do it because you didn't sign it?
I refused it, and they threw me in solitary. So 6 of them 12 hours that I was locked up, when I told her that I wouldn't take the shot, she picked it up off a table. Like, it had a cap on it, but it was like lint and dust on the table that was falling from her hand that I was able to see in the light. So I'm like, I can't do that. And I said it just like that.
Proper sanitary medical facility. They can't be doing that.
We're in a
medical procedure.
We're in a tunnel in the jail somewhere.
Where's the alcohol swabs to clean his arm and to make it sterile? Where's the band to help raise the veins?
Yeah, this
There's
is
so
all
many
against-
steps missing from a medical procedure personnel doing that.
But
Well, it violates the Nuremberg.
your insurance company can file a complaint against them. I already know one guy who went to, they didn't shoot him up, but they threatened and they put him in jail. He went to his insurance company and they filed a complaint against the jail.
That's good information.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't have insurance at the time, and it's something that, again, I didn't. I'm new to the area. I'm more focused on the two veterans that I take care of, and I'm thinking in the back of my head too, like I should have had the POAs and everything in the car, but I'm like, I'm saying something to the nurse lady before it went left right there. I'm like, can you just tell me who I can talk to make a phone call to get, like, my family's right around the corner. I can have them drop my legal documentation off. I need to get in touch with my counsel. And again, it's people that I care for. Like, I have a fiduciary duty. She's like, I know all about how powers of attorney work. That's not how powers of attorney work. I'm like, man, a durable power of attorney. She's like, that doesn't mean anything.
Should have asked her, are you a lawyer and where's your training?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
right
At a
there.
certain point, I asked, "Hey, is this being recorded?" Oh yeah, this is being audio recorded, but there's it's being video recorded. There's no audio. So I'm like, okay, but again, just getting I got everything but this lady's name. Again, when she walked out and tried to get me to sign that paperwork, and I said no to the paperwork, like, respectfully, she walked out again, and then there's like 3 swole ass officers came in there. They uncuffed me from the table. I'm sure one of them had to have the camera because he's like, okay, it's such and such time, July 16th, 2025, blah, blah, blah. And they basically lifted me up out the seat and walked me to solitary. And they put me against the back wall in solitary and took if you move, you're going to be tased. And I can fucking see the light of the taser and all of that shit. And shit all over the walls. A toilet in there, no toilet paper in there, so they leave me in there for like 5 hours, and then
Cruel and unusual punishment.
Yep.
They had a shift change, and so really, again, it's the whole thing is God. The whole thing, I'm sitting, I'm like, I'm not even supposed to be in here. I don't commit crimes. I don't harm people. I do have an understanding of common law versus statutory stuff. So the whole time, I'm like, I'm not the ends legis. That's all I'm saying. They're like, yeah, that doesn't fucking matter. You're in Indiana, son. Okay. They're like, this isn't Chicago anymore. Okay. Like, I guess 4 or 5 in the morning, they do shift change. So new officers come in, they come open the door. They're like, so what type of fucking sovereign citizen are you? I'm like, so I don't even know what that means. They're like, yeah, we need to know, because we get sovereigns that come through here and they try to chest bump with us and shit, and we got to fuck them up, show them what's going on. Again, so I don't know what that means. I don't have anything to do with that. Okay, what are you? I'm a living man under God. I don't know what else to tell you. Oh, okay. Just like, okay.
Profiling, hate crimes, trying to turn around and defame your character. Anything they can try to use against you. Remember, Miranda rights, anything you say, and it is what you do, because even though they may not say what you say and do, but that's what they use against you.
It's all the presumptions, just like the beginning of this call, and to rebut this shit, and yeah, and again, being able to do that in the moment is hard. I'm sitting here again listening to the guy Sam ahead of me. I still feel like this situation wasn't as drastic as that, because again, they trying to put you under a medical hold. Like, what can you say to that if they're trying to tell you you're not competent, and they're not taking your word?
And they're not even medically licensed or practicing. They have no profession in that arena. So all of the whole welfare check, competency, they have no professional standing to determine. So those determinations, those legal determinations, they don't even have. They're being judge, witness, accuser, and all the things, which is a violation of separation of powers. They're turning around and they're tricking people up to try to get them to submit and comply through bully tactics. That's essentially all of this. And I'm sorry you went through that, because all of us here are sitting here like, we get it. And you got the video where he's admitting it's an infraction and that he's saying the reason he's doing it is failure to identify, and you're calling him out for not having reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime. And he's calling an infraction a crime, and we all know it isn't. So you got that right there.
If I may, real quick, I stepped away for a few minutes, but I do want to say that there is someone that's not here. His name's Tony. He's up in Michigan, and he was standing on his rights to present himself in the present himself in court, and the the judge ordered him for a psych eval so to make sure he's competent, all that shit, and he's still trying to stand on his rights, and they held him in contempt because some things didn't go the way the courts wanted. So yeah, right now he's being held in contempt until he completes the psych eval. But as far as I know, he planned on saying, "Hey, do I have the right to remain silent?" And well, he's not gonna ask that. He's just gonna say, "Hey, I've got this right." And yeah, they can't do anything about the psych eval then, as far as we know. But
it's all violations too, because you're not supposed to be incriminating yourself. So, whether it's your bodily fluids or they're asking you questions.
Exactly.
Can they claim, Jack, that he's incompetent if he pleads silent during a psych eval? Because I had to do one of those too, and yeah.
We all call it the do whatever the fuck they want doctrine. So yeah, of course they can claim it, but that doesn't make it lawful.
Well, I mean, that's good to know. But if they do anything with you after a psych eval as a result of whatever they decide, then like, how do you avoid? I would prefer to avoid getting in that situation than suing. So how do you even avoid like them doing that to you?
There's no avoiding criminals. They're gonna come fuck with you when they
You
want
build
to.
your force field. You build your force field.
Yeah.
Because when it
The
comes
only
down to it, it really is protecting your energy. I mean, we're all learning how sometimes in a lot of ways we contracted spiritually to come in on this movement. This is a labor of love, but also one of the things I've been also touching upon for my own personal experience is that when we're leaking all of these fears and these unconscious, subconscious things out into the world, we're actually attracting this shit to us. Now, when I got arrested on the 9th, I had already filed a complaint against the VA for medical malpractice. I had just had a phone call while I was out in Arizona that prior week on that Thursday. It happened on a Sunday. I had just recounted the violation that had been perpetrated against me by the provider. And in that energy, I was in this violated state of energy. I had relived it. Okay. So when you recount your stories, remember something. When you have been, traumatized or violated in anything, you're reliving all of those unresolved traumas in your life. And so we are in that emotional state, and it radiates out, and it, especially the stronger and the more relevant of that energy, it will attract other things to us. So when that happened to me on the Sunday, in my mind, I was like, holy shit. And like, he can't even say that I definitely knew mens rea, that I had a driving while suspended. I just came back from being out in Arizona. I'm like pulled over, and this guy escalates in 5 minutes. And then I was reflecting with friends over the past several months. I'm like, you know what is interesting? And I'm very well aware of myself. I had just had a conversation with my advocate with the VA that's doing the investigation regarding this other case. And how ironic is it that I got pulled over and violated by the sheriff's deputy? Like, you just cannot make this shit up. So it really causes us, and happy full moon, by the way, it really causes us self-reflection. And how did I attract this to myself? And not in a way that you're a victim. That's not the point. The point is cleaning up your leaky energy, containing and like coming back into the heart space, and recognizing that we are all participating in our own pain and in ways that we don't realize. And when we can claim that, own that, that's a shadow work. Seeing our shit, owning it, and not dismissing it or shame and blaming it, because that's not the point. The point is going, oh my gosh, I didn't know that this unconscious or this subconscious thing was still running the show over here. You know what I mean? Like, this is the blessing in all of this. And like, seeing the silver lining in everything that's happening is phenomenal. And that's where your real magic starts unraveling, where you're going, Oh, wow. Okay. This isn't a setback. This is a set up. This isn't a breakdown. It's leading to a breakthrough. This is the silver lining, is harnessing and seeing the beauty in how powerful creators we really are, people. Okay, that's my rant, and I love you all. And I'll go.
Anna,
Just
can I
add,
I
add?
appreciate it. I agree. I don't think
Can
it's
I
a rant.
add to
Thank you for
that?
sharing.
Yeah.
I'd like to add to what Lana said. When I first got Lana, thank you. When I first got stopped and they charged me with 8 things and none of them were true, my immediate response was, "You're a liar." And I kept that attitude through the second stop and realized I'm bringing things to me. And somebody told me, you can't go into court in dishonor and start accusing them of things. You have to make a conditional acceptance of what they say and then tell them to prove that it's not true, or prove what they say is true. And this thing of honor and dishonor really caught me, and I could not figure it out. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks talking about what Lana was saying. I changed my attitude, and when I had to go to the clerk of court, I would say something like, "Oh my gosh, your hair is beautiful. Who did your hair? Oh, your daughter did it. Well, she could be a professional." And I changed my whole attitude and started treating everybody like they were a new friend I hadn't met yet.
Right.
And everything started to turn around. Everything, 8, 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 charges were dismissed. 2 of them I got a guilty put on me because the judge refused to take the proof of insurance I had. And so I just filed because the courts do what they call silencing you. And I don't know if anybody's heard about that, but the clerk of court will just refuse to look at anything you send in. I had filed a notice of appeal. I waited 4 months. I still hadn't gotten my notice of appeal to a higher court. So I started filing, and I filed on them in the Superior Court saying the district court didn't do what they were supposed to be doing. I've been waiting 4 months, and now I'm wanting the Superior Court to bring it into court. So now, continuing this thing of what Lana was talking about and staying in honor and being nice to everybody, all of a sudden it looks like they're going to dismiss it either before it goes to court or at the end of the month when it does go to court. So I wanted to add to that, Lana, because boy, that works. When you change your attitude, everything else changes. Thank you.
I have a quick question for you, Karen. Because you mentioned that they didn't take it to they didn't send you a notice of appeal. There are certain steps that you have to do when taking it to the appeal, especially if you requested to have the transcripts presented to the Court of Appeals. So if a lot of times, I know that in Ohio, the person who's filing the appeal has to have the record transcribed. So if you never put that as part of the record, they're not going to send it over to the appellate court.
I put
double check your rules, because there are rules that say they have to. Because there are rules that we need to force them to follow. We have to hold these people accountable for their violations.
Right.
And
The
failing
rules
to
said
send it up like they're supposed to is a
the rules
failure and a
said
violation.
the rules said that I had to put my notice of appeal in within 14 days, which I put it in on the 3rd day. It said they had 30 days to get it to the Superior Court. After 4 months, it wasn't there. By then, I had already filed notices to dismiss, motions, an affidavit that was 40 pages long so that I didn't miss anything. And the reconstruction of the record was in the affidavit too. So they would get caught on 10 different violations if they go on to Superior Court.
So what state are you in?
I'm in North Carolina.
Okay, and when you filed the appeal, did you put in your notice of appeal that you wanted them to send over the complete record as well as the transcript, or was it
okay, in our state, they say the district court does not have to make any kind of a record. They had already withheld police records and everything else from me. So when I went into court, I never knew what they were doing one way or another. But what they do is they try to trick you into answering a question like, what is your name? And if you don't make it clear, I'm the name that is in upper and lower case, that's my proper name, then they'll keep bringing you back in until they get you under their jurisdiction. So I went in 5 times and I knew what not to say, and they couldn't get me under jurisdiction. So when I went in the 5th time, the judge said, I'm ordering a bench trial for you on this date. And I said, I objected to that. He ignored everything. They went on to the bench trial, had the bench trial, and ignored everything again. And that's why I filed the notice of appeal. But you have to look at what the procedure is in your state and in your county to make sure that you're not telling them to do something that you haven't already brought up in the cases before that. So I already had brought up jurisdictions, everything in each one, and had not answered their questions the way they wanted me to. So they give you 10 minutes to try to get you under their jurisdiction, and then just reschedule you for a month later. And that's the way most of them do. They'll either say what you're talking about is nonsense, you're incompetent, yes, or try to get you into a mental health, arena. And as long as you know what they're
on you.
yeah.
This is why we need to start using memorandums of law and judicial notices to put these facts of law and the rules pertaining to these cases on the record. Force them to have to follow the rules. Because if we put them on the record via a memorandum of law and we do it properly, where it's only listing out the laws that pertain to that case, that literally ties that court's hands to that have to follow it. If they don't, you can immediately move it up to a higher court, even if it hasn't gone all the way through their process yet.
See, that's what I did, and that's why they did what legal people call silencing me. They just kept putting it off until 4 months later I had to file with the Superior Court. Yeah. So if they don't do it, you have to find the rule that allows you to do it
yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to we need to know our rules. We need to look that up, because how do we know what to hold them to if we don't even know the rules ourselves?
That's where I was able to find out that the judge who put me in jail did not have a current oath of office. That could cause him to lose his pension, his job, and everything.
How the hell is that possible? I've heard this several times. I don't get it. No oath of office. They got one somewhere. They just don't say it.
What happens when they put you in jail is the rules say they have to have a judge from a disassociated or dissociated court. So they have to go to another county and get a judge to file on your order for arrest and putting you in jail. But if you write, if you find out who the judge is, write to the other county, ask him for his oath of office covering the year that you were put in jail or the year that he put the order for arrest in. If you find out that this guy hadn't had a current oath of office since 2019, and yet they were still using his name from another county, he didn't even sign it, and the girl that signed his name on it wasn't looking for the oath of office. But you have to look at all the details in order to find out what they did that was unlawful as well as illegal, because if they don't have an oath, they're operating illegally.
Vacant office.
Did you say vacant office?
It's considered a vacant office.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. When they have, and the other thing is in order to have an oath, you have to have a bond first. And then because they are supposedly public officials, public office, and I have it I wrote it down. I forgot who it was that said it, but it's in the AMS juris, but it's also in their policies. Public office equals public trust. Public trust makes them all trustees, and they're being paid with public funds. If they are not honoring, if they're in misfeasance or malfeasance of office as a trustee, and they are unjustly enriching themselves, then those public funds need to be stopped. This is where we really need to go after all of them, because yeah, we can go, I mean, the oaths and all that other stuff is great, but when it really boils down to it, you're getting paid with public funds, and you are attacking the very people that contribute to those funds. That isn't just the fraud upon the people, but it's also misfeasance, malfeasance of office as a trustee.
I think it's an emolument violation or something like that.
Totally.
It's what Tanawa's doing. So they've been, the state's attorney generals and stuff have already been, they've already been put on notice. We just need to follow up and be like, hey, well, what's going on? You've been put on notice. If you're still paying these officials to break the law and to violate us and war against the people and war against the Constitution, well, we've got a big problem.
That was one thing that I looked at, because I know a lot of policemen and sheriffs, and I asked the police trainer for the city if he took an oath, and he told me yes. And I said, do you remember what it said? And he said yes. And he repeated it to me, and it turned out to be an oath to protect the system, not the people. So for 17, 18, 19, 20 years now, the police are taking oaths to protect the
corporation
governments. Yeah, the government employees.
Well, I don't even know if it's necessarily an oath that they've taken more than it is just a job application that they sign it.
Exactly.
Well, there's 3 different oaths, and if you look them up there, well, I could list them, but there's 3 different oaths, and there's 4 different titles that a judge in a city can have. For instance, my city they're listed under corporations, Dun and Bradstreet, under the name of the city. They're also listed under a name DUE, as like payment due. And so I found that the cities, when the cities take in money on the private side, they're taking in $2 to $11 million per traffic ticket, per charge, and then they're depositing it for the judge writes a thing for the clerk to go to the Federal Reserve window, take that money out, and then they put it in an account called, in my case, it was DUE. And they shuffle this around from state to state and court to court. I almost lost it under the 12th Circuit Court, but it eventually gets into bonds and then securitized and then put on the Wall Street Journal about 2 years later. And there is a guy that knows how to find that. If you're interested, I can get you in touch with him. I haven't gotten that.
Even if it's just to get more information about it, because this CRIS system, this interest-bearing account that they put these funds in for them to retire off of, is off of our irreparable harm.
And it's
But
you
can claim
SEC. Yeah.
You can claim that if you do it within 5 years of the court case. Otherwise, it reverts to the court. That's why
Say that again?
I said, when you have a court case, you can claim the money if you do it within 5 years. But if you wait longer than 5 years, then it goes back to the city or whoever gave you the tickets, the judge, and it gets divided up under all these government programs. So you have to find where the bonds are, where they're listed. I think that's why they shuffle it around for like 2 years. Because if you're looking for it before the 2 years is up, it wouldn't actually be securitized on the international market for exchange.
Okay. So we need to figure out,
Well, you get a full audit on your cases too. You can put in for that.
Do you know how to do that?
I mean, I've done it, but it doesn't mean they answer.
Exactly.
I'm actually thinking to stick it in with the IG. Why not? Because there's an IG that goes over the clerk. The clerk is the record keeper.
Yeah, the clerk of court knows what the fuck is going on.
What do you mean?
They have more power than the judges.
Yep.
IG. What is IG?
Inspector General, Fraud, Waste, and Abuse, baby.
Thank you.
Now, Karen, I was looking up your court rules for the transcript, and it says that ordering preparation, delivery, and filing each transcript that is to be designated as part of the record of the appeal. Now it says that the party who orders a transcript for the appeal after the notice is filed or given use of the appellate division transcript contract form to order the transcript, that form is available on the Supreme Court webpage. So
that doesn't apply to district court in North Carolina because none of the district courts are required to have a record. What you have to do is file a reconstruction of the record in your own words as an affidavit and then tell them they have a certain amount of time to rebut it. And it has to be rebutting to everything, not just one thing.
And they haven't responded?
They did what's called silencing me. They just did not carry the case forward. So I filed a notice in the Superior Court that the district court did not go ahead and schedule the appeal within the time limit. And because of that, they should dismiss the whole case.
Well, the first, because I know that when I was filing they call it a 9C statement when they don't have a record. Now the trial court is supposed to respond, but at the end of the day, as far as like what they agree to, what the record is based on whatever the trial court says. Now, if they don't respond to that, then instead of then what you're supposed to do, I would read the court rules, what you do if they make no objections or anything to it, because then at that point your affidavit becomes fact.
Well, the
And
affidavit becomes fact anyway if they don't rebut it. So if you have
What's cool
mentioned,
though is that you got like call that out too though. You know, like you got to kind of call that out and get a written order or a determination or something that's really going to stand on the record too for the appellant. It's not just orally argument and you want to get something on the record, but yeah, that's true, Jasmine. There's something else I was going to ask you, but it slipped my mind. I'm gonna let y'all continue.
so yeah, if I were you, I would definitely bring rise to the fact that here's the statement, they haven't rebutted. And maybe at some point you would file some sort of notice to the appellate court regarding this whole situation, since you haven't,
see,
because I know
the Superior Court is the appellate court here. So when you file in the Superior Court and say there was supposed to be a notice of appeal within 30 days, within 2 weeks, you were supposed to receive what the district court had, but it wasn't done. And I listed, the authorities, the court cases. I made a point to say that anything listed with statutes, court cases, all that stuff was not for my benefit. It was for the benefit of public officials who have to obey those. And I put everything in there so that there's nothing they can mention that I haven't already put in the 40-page affidavit.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess the other next step it would be to, file a lawsuit against them. Is actually file a formal complaint against them. I don't know if that would be in your court of common pleas or, whatever.
I could file in the federal court against them, but what I've decided to do is because I have medical procedures every day, literally until the end of December, is as soon as I get healthy enough, I'm going to educate the people who have already been in trouble and ended up in jail or, serving sentences or, because we have people in jail who never did anything.
I'm
And
sorry, what are you fighting in district court?
I had canceled, rescissioned, and revoked all of my contracts with the state of North Carolina, county of, city of, and had a private tag on my car that my car was in a trust. And when I was stopped, it wasn't because of the tag, because I had stopped and talked to state troopers and sheriffs and police and said, is this private tag a problem? They said, no, we wouldn't stop you unless you were speeding or, you know, something like that, which I don't do. I'm 74. I've never been in trouble. So they accused the cop that accused me did it because they were wanting to drive homeless people away from the center of town. And this is where I started feeding people in the 1990s in this private park. So the city bought this park and told everybody you can't feed homeless people up here anymore. They even put a sign up, and the sign said, "Don't feed the homeless." I mean, how blatant can you get of violating rights? So I continued to bring scarves and caps in the winter, bottles of water, food, snacks, anything somebody needed, I would bring it up there. And found out that some of the wealthy developers in the uptown area had hired people to come in, pretend to be homeless, and scare the people who worked and lived uptown. And so they were doing everything they could to get rid of the homeless. And here everybody is leaving. Nobody's feeding anybody
Me
but me.
too.
And so when when a guy had a seizure, fell under a bush and laid there for 30 minutes, and the police came like 6 policemen came charging to him. I had put in hot hands warmers in his jacket and his pants pockets and got him to wake up. And he saw them coming and he said, "Oh no, don't let them take me to jail. No, no." So I walked over to the police and I said, "Could you give me just a minute to calm this guy down before you talk to him? He needs an ambulance. He's had a seizure and he needs to go to the hospital." And the officer said, "Well, he ain't going to the hospital unless I put him unless I call the ambulance." I said, I'm fine with that. Just give me a minute to calm him down because he's afraid of the police. That pissed them off, and within the next week, the police would walk by my car where I was sitting, holler something, and keep on walking. And then on the day I got arrested, I was followed for 3 hours by an unmarked car, which I thought was a stalker. I got stopped when I wasn't speeding or doing anything. The policeman impounded my car, left me on the street, no citation, no warrant, no nothing. I couldn't get my car out of impound because you have to have a citation and pay the police department their fee before you can get your car. I could go on from there, but I ended up in jail too. And as it turned out, I know enough about the law to look at the signatures and the dates where people signed their oaths. And you may not realize this, but most lawyers have their own pen so that when they sign something, they can tell it was signed by their pen. So when I went to court and the judge refused to address whether or not she had an oath of office, it suddenly appeared a few days or a month later that she did have an oath of office. It wasn't signed the way attorneys sign it with their own pen. It was signed, both judges in question had a signature that was by the same kind of pen the notary was using, which tells me they weren't signed by the attorneys and district attorney and the judge at all. So I started looking deeper and found out that one of them didn't have an oath of office, and that was enough to get me off. So I've stopped looking from there. Sorry, I didn't mean to ramble, but it's a lot longer than I just mentioned.
It's all good. No, I wanted to give you, time to speak your truth, because I feel like that's most important.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and you've been putting in a lot of work, and that's kind of how I think we all need it to be. Is that yes, we're here to structure and learn from each other. I'm here to help develop and be the best that I possibly can for each and every one of us, and we all got our aspects to do that. But I can't be that person that you constantly lean on forever. There's some people that are really like that too. It's just like, we 6 months in and I'm still doing developments for them. It's like at some point you have to really get to the point where you're being like, hey, let's run this by Cam, rather than I need you to do this for me. And if not, and it's an issue, and I can't be that for people. People have to really get in, start understanding. I help develop, we learn things, and we start to get our own mind frame of how we want to move. Right.
It helps if you can hire your own paralegal that nobody knows about and tell
No, we
the
don't. We
paralegal.
don't need. We don't need paralegals.
We are the paralegals.
We are, yes. We can
I
do it
would
all
not,
ourselves.
I would not have learned that how the gatekeepers and how the silencing worked if I didn't have an attorney who worked, not an attorney, paralegal who worked for attorneys. So I'm not saying you have to trust them for everything, but sure do find out some secrets.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to have someone on the inside to tell you.
I will say that from my experience being in court and you know, what is it called when you cross-examining them, the police officers, a lot of times the judge would tell me, like, you can't ask the officer fact-finding questions about how they're interpreting the law and things like that because that's not their job. So when you so when you're getting upset because these police officers are violating you, I mean, it's so messed up, but it's just because they don't teach them what the law is. Like, they don't have a law degree or anything like that, so the court doesn't expect them to really understand what they're doing. So because the court has this expectation that they don't understand that they may not understand what they're doing, the Thayer's principle actually allows you to bring suits against the corporation, against the city under their corporate entity because of the violations that the police officers may bring to people. And you can find that under the City of Independence, because a lot of time they like to claim that they have judicial immunity and things like that. But because of the Thayer's principle, if you bring that law forward when trying to file a suit against being violated because they took your car, you know, it was impounded, you suffered a lot of harm from that. And another common thing that I also hear in this space is that they can rebut challenges to statutes and statute code violations, but they can't rebut damages. So when you can actually bring forth that you have actual damages that occurred from this space, whether it be you know, your car was impounded and how that impacted you, the emotional distress of not having the car, scheduling an appointment with a therapist to actually have like therapy appointments on record to be able to show them like, hey, you know, I'm like really tore up about this because of all this that happened, and it all resulted from from the police violating my rights. And as long as you can properly articulate that in a formal complaint, there's no reason why they wouldn't accept that. And I think that would also help with getting your case fully dismissed, because another thing that I've seen in this space, until you're able to properly sue either a municipal corporation, a police department, or something like that, they're going to keep harassing you.
Right. So that's, I don't know. Are y'all seeing the screen right now?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, this would be like something you're talking about, right, Jasmine?
Yes. Jasmine.
Yeah. So it'd be like the formal legal complaint and demand for administrative remedies. And see, like, what's cool about these is that we submit them to different agencies of the department, so that way there's responsibility that's laid down on each agency for like preservation of evidence, and then for them to do their due diligence as far as a duty is concerned on their actual title and role. So like, as you see here, like for risk management, and then it also go over to the county or city attorney. And this one's for Ken, dude we was just talking to that just got pulled out the car. And so, yeah, that's how we start the administrative process, so we can start getting them to preserve the evidence, start putting them on notice in relation to who are the parties, who's the responding agency, the involved personnel, additional respondents, the jurisdiction and authority in which we're coming up under, right, and violations thereof, which of course there's more than just these, but at least that's a baseline in correlation to the material facts, the legal violations, and then injuries and damages already sustained in relation to and the relief sought. But I don't know, Ken, did you already do this or no?
I haven't done this yet. As far as I got yesterday, again, I called the prosecutor's office. I think you were off for a minute. I called the prosecutor's office twice, and both times I got different workers in his office. The first time they put me on hold for like 15 minutes and then just hung up the phone. He came back. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, okay, so yeah, you gotta start submitting these, because once you start submitting them, what ends up happening is they start responding and they'll start asking questions. Like with mine in the email, they tried to play sly like I was talking to a certain person, but it was actually a sergeant, and not the actual director as I was supposed to, and they had to clarify later. And then they sent me a letter saying they opened it up the investigation, but then they never sent a follow-up to say that they had closed it. So like right now, next time I go down there, on the 13th, I think, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I don't know, one of the two. I got court, and essentially they already threw me this plea, but they got the whole administrative aspect on that back end that they still got to answer to, because I'm ready to bring forth another federal claim. I mean, I'm not ready, to be honest. To be honest with you, but the time is ticking. I got too many federal lawsuits right now. But yeah, I need to open this one up as well. And you got to get that investigation going on the back end.
And so they're acquiescing. So I guess my only real question, and I won't even call it a hesitancy, because at this point I'm finalizing the documents you gave me. It's a great game plan. And again, I have court coming up. The first court date is on Friday. So I was hoping to get the prosecutor on the phone, and even the script, I made a couple little tweaks, and hey, I don't want to make this a big deal. I want this to go away. I don't want to tie you to the actions of this officer here, but I kind of feel like he told the subordinates to, to
chain of command, baby. Chain of command.
So just me knowing that, okay, that gave me some information on at least how to approach this. But so I got my green cards from the only thing that I have submitted is Indiana. They're called like APRA, APRA, and it's the public records request. So that's the first thing that I did before our meeting. I sent like a one-page request to the prosecutor's office for any records, any body cam, any exculpatory evidence, any of that. I sent one to the sheriff's office. I sent one to the medical director of the jail. I sent one to the jail itself, the board of commissioners. I sent the FOIA request for like any violations or anything like that at this facility over the last 10 years. And then I sent one more out to a medical facility that they're the only ones that responded. And they said, we actually, GPT sent me off. So they didn't have anything to do with this facility. And I should have checked that before I mailed that letter off. So at this point, it's been by law, they have 7 days to respond with any evidence. I throw in everything that I can think to ask in those letters, even the one that went to the prosecutor. I even said in that letter, hey, I would love a quiet and non-messy dismissal. I think that's in the interest of justice. And, I was as articulate as possible, but I kept that whole thing one page because I didn't want to look like I was trying to bribe him or anything either. You know what I mean? So at this point, it's like, my affidavit is pretty much put together. My motion for lack of jurisdiction and like several other main points is fruit from a poisonous tree. So it's again, it's a motion to suppress, and then I have one other motion that I was working on. And I'm using my DPOA. I'm confident in as soon as I walk in, getting on the record, my capacity, and that I'm only here in special appearance, by special appearance, on behalf of the defendant. I guess I'm wondering, do I do anything else to put the prosecutor on notice? Do I send him this affidavit and also go in there with the fact that I doubt he'd respond to it, and then also file all of this into the case, and then go in there Friday, say, hey, what's going on? There's no probable cause. You guys help me. That document that said no probable cause that was signed the day that I was locked up, like before I got bond, my family bonded me out for $250. But then a week later, a week and a half ago, I got a document that says that a judge signed off. I was supposed to get an OR bond. I was supposed to get an own recognizance bond. And so I have that document. And that same document here, that's the doc in the chat. Cam was talking about that. It has the 2 charges on that document, but they crossed out the first charge, and they have the marijuana charge listed first. My charges are possession of marijuana, again, a $5 worth of weed in a cart, and a refusal to aid an officer. You all saw the video there. So like my research on GPT before I even met with Cam, hey, he didn't even give you a lawful order. When you read the Indiana code on
My boy
this.
said you got to assist that nigga in the rest of you, bro.
And I'm like, that's when you read the Indiana code on this. This is the code right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like one
No, yeah,
sentence.
it's blurred out. It's blurred out.
The code is one sentence on that charge. It says a person who, when ordered by a law enforcement officer to assist the officer in the execution of the officer's duties, knowingly or intentionally or without a reasonable cause, refuses to assist, commits refusal to aid an officer, a Class B misdemeanor.
But you're not a person.
Make any of this make sense to me. So that's the charge that's technically, well, technically they still have both charges on the online docket as of today. Possession of marijuana and this charge that I just read to you all, that it says in here, if I just go in there and say I didn't intentionally do shit, I didn't know what I was doing, I still don't understand anything, that defeats this charge right here. But so they sent me a document saying there's no probable cause for the marijuana from before I got released. There was no probable cause, but this charge is still on. I still have to go in here and argue this on Friday.
Well, as Lana had mentioned, unconstitutional as applied. One thing you want to steer clear from, and like when going into the court, you don't want to just try to strike down certain laws completely unconstitutional, because there's a lot of times there's cases that have been brought up in the past that have made the law constitutional in some senses. So you
Okay.
never want to say unconstitutional, like period. So
Sure.
unconstitutional as applied because I have the right not to self-incriminate myself. So that is how you would frame that one.
That
Now,
makes sense.
as far as the marijuana charge, how did they come about to find that you had marijuana on you?
In that video, after the officer opened the door and stepped in close to me, we still went back and forth for another maybe 30, 40 seconds. And then he's like, this is gonna be your last time. It went through my mind that he called for backup at the very beginning, and he called for backup and didn't give any context. So I'm like, when they pull up, they're gonna come up here, guns drawn and shit. So I'm like, let me just give him the ID. I reached in my pocket to give him my ID and forgot the vape cart was in my pocket. So as I had like the track pants on. So as I unzipped my the pocket, the vape cart fell out and hit the floor of the car. So he looked down and saw it. I looked down and saw it. I picked it up and put it in the cup holder, just like out of reaction. Like, I'm not gonna leave it right here where he can grab. I put it in the cup holder and grab my phone. And at the same time, I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna give you my ID. Like, calm the fuck down. But once it was really my fault at that point. Once he saw that, okay, now I know he's gonna roll with his probable cause. But I knew in the back of my head, he came up to the car and was like, "Hey, your lights were off." He said that. I immediately, instinctively turned the lights on. He didn't even look back to see. So it's like all my research has shown that was everything was supposed to end right there. Him asking for my license and all this other shit was
So then you would want to do a motion to suppress the evidence of the marijuana due to an unlawful stop, because it was unconstitutional as applied, because you can say that you want to challenge the fact that your car is not a motor vehicle, but you don't want to do it in a sense that is basically saying that it's a commercial versus private use kind of thing, kind of sense. Because in Ohio, specifically in Ohio, they have, as part of the motor vehicles, the use of a RV or a recreational vehicle, which is something that you can use privately, but it's still considered a motor vehicle. So that's why you don't want to use that specific terminology. So you want to really look and see what
Indiana code is. It's similar. It says, I think instead of RV here, they talk about like a watercraft or some shit like that. But that's the terminology they use for motor vehicle here. And they exactly what you just said basically is how they have it set up, which is
dude, they can't hold you for the whole refusing to aid the officer, because the statute as applied it can't be being construed in harmony with the common law. It's insufficiently vague, and it's vague and capricious. You can't tell what it's saying. It doesn't in any way say except the person for whom the officer is directing their investigation, because they have a superior Fifth Amendment right and a Fourth Amendment right to not incriminate and against your stuff being taken.
Violates your free will too.
Now, the law to support that claim of the void for vagueness is, I would say, it's Colander versus Lawson. So that is the case that I would look up because it does talk about the sweep of the prosecutor, the police officers, and things like that, through enforcing very vague laws. So that is the foundation that I would give for that. But he is definitely right.
I appreciate all of it. Big time.
Yeah.
Also,
so
the
what?
memorandum.
They can have a statute. They can have a
code.
So,
The Indiana code for vehicles not required to be registered is Indiana Code 9-18.1-2-2 subsection 7.
Another thing I would look at, because a lot of times I was looking, I'm not sure if this is proper, but I know I hear a lot about the U.S. citizen and things like that, and in certain capacities you are technically a U.S. citizen. It just depends how the sentence is being used. But one thing I was looking into is the privilege and immunities doctrine, and I believe that applies because obviously you were born in a specific state. I was born in Ohio. So if I'm in Pennsylvania, technically through the privileges and immunity clause, I am able to get certain rights from the Pennsylvania Constitution because I'm, traveling, I'm part of the United States and things like that. So one thing, if you are born and raised from Indiana, I would assert that, hey, I was born here, I'm a state citizen, I have rights that are protected by the state constitution. Here in Ohio, they actually recognize our inalienable rights or inalienable rights. And so that's one of the things, like, you have the right to freedom of movement. That's one of the protected liberties that you have, unless you're infringing on public the public welfare. So you would want to stand on that. Hey, my lights not being on weren't hurting anyone. At the time, there was not an accident that almost happened. The police couldn't say that maybe your vision wasn't obscured, like you weren't swerving in and out of lanes. So there was no real threat to public safety the way you were using your automobile. And then so stand on the fact that, hey, I have the right to liberty and I have the right to use my automobile. I have the right to acquire property. I have the right to freedom of movement. And with all of that combined, the officer infringing on my right, he could have just gave me a mere, hey, turn your lights on, seeing that they were working, and let me go about my day. So at that point, any additional information, any additional force was unnecessary. So I would definitely look at your not Ohio Constitution, the Indiana Constitution, to see what rights are protected, because technically, the right to use an automobile is not a federal protection, it is a state protection. So that's when you are a state regulatory authority. So that's where you would go into looking into
Well, look, you gotta
what's
do it like
protected
this
there.
though. You gotta look at it like this though, Jasmine. You ain't gotta look really anywhere. All you gotta do is announce what you is, to be honest with you. Once you announce what you are, like that sets the precedent in the whole realm of reality, right? Because knowing what you are taps into your faith and it taps into creator endowed rights, natural rights, which is God. Okay. When you tap into the source of knowing what you are, there can be nothing that can supersede that, because they'll never have a victim, a corpus delicti, matched or paired with mens rea or actus reus. So it's like even another layer below that, like more foundational, which leads into doctrines and maxims. Then once you get into doctrines and maxims, exclusionary, fruit of the poisonous, colander, and all them are good. Yeah, we use them a lot. Those are easy ones. But then you get into like case analysis and briefs on those in correlation to the actual situation in which the person is going through. Like say, for instance, we get into a Courtroom analysis, right? So let me give y'all some analysis real quick. Y'all probably both enjoy. I got a Rodriguez one, and then I got a Courtroom one as well. And both of these cases are really good because documents. I need to get into Rodriguez case analysis. Where's the chat?
Jasmine, are you in Ohio?
I am.
Whereabouts?
I'm in Cleveland.
Okay. I'm down by Cincinnati. But
Oh yeah.
if you're on Discord, look me up.
Yeah, who are you on the Discord? Just Jasmine? Oh, that was silent.
I'm not on the Discord because I actually stumbled across you because I was on SPU's university or something like that, and I seen someone mention that you're super strong in the travel community. So I ended up going to your page and I seen that you were having a live right now, so I hopped on. So
That
I'm
might
not
have
on
been
the
me.
Discord.
Oh yeah.
I be
She said
mentioning
that might
Cam
have been.
everywhere. That
She
might have
said
been
that
me.
might have been
Just
me.
saying. You're welcome.
That's cool.
All right,
But yeah,
Jasmine, I just put a link in the chat. You can get onto our Discord from there.
yeah, I was trying to learn more about, what Cam has to say and, how
Well, you
he.
hitting on all the points, so that's cool. Because when you said Colinder, I mean, you hitting on all the points. It's just we tapping into a deeper source, which is, if there ain't no harm can be brought against us. Because see, like you have the right to self-governance. See, people trip out so hard on that whole sovereign citizen term, and I don't know if you ever seen me say anything about this, but like that's why we was telling homeboy earlier, or I guess Thomas was for like my book self-governing, bro, because like you have a right to self-governance. Can nobody sit here and be like telling you what to do unless you've like conceded to that? They had a joint resolution that was enacted, right? And it says, whereas some 2 million young men and women in the United States each year reach the age of 21 years, and whereas it is desirable that the sovereign citizens of our nation be prepared for the responsibilities and impressed with the significance of their status in our self-governing republic. Okay, let's break that down. Whereas it is desirable that the sovereign citizens, of our nation, what the fuck y'all talking about? What? Okay, be prepared for the responsibilities and impressed with the significance of their status in our self-governing republic. To me, that whole context says that I have, at the age of 21, reached an age where I am self-dependent to where nobody can say I'm no longer responsible for myself completely. 21, the highest status within ourselves. I am now self-governing, 100. I have reached that age within America with duties, though, that Troy knows of, that Troy so often reads of. That's an American. I don't even know if Troy's in here or not. No, Troy's not in here, so he left. But we have duties as an American. As an American, we have a duty to look out for each other, to sustain growth, to sustain empathy, to sustain compassion, to sustain love. Like this nation is built off a principle of ending all malice to everybody and instilling the greatness of gratitude towards the Creator. So if we're doing that and we're standing on that, how can you come against what we're standing on if it's in all honor? If it's in all integrity, if it's in all morality, if it's in all servitude, if it's in all gratitude? Like there is nothing that can come against that. So if you're utilizing that, showing that, well, I'm fundamentally utilizing myself to self-govern, and yes, the right to travel is encompassed in that, but it reaches far and beyond. And like it goes into property rights. We got people in the Supreme Court. It goes into, it goes into anything and everything. It's crazy. It's all over the place how these judges be. But in the end, even when our people be getting contempt of court, the judges come out and find them not guilty. And this is on multiple situations now that we've had. There's a fire, but then people go through that fire and it's like, oh, let's hit them on the back burner now. Now we hitting for the civil suits, right? And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and everybody's growing with their own mindset and coming together and saying, hey, how I do this, and hey, how we do that. We throwing injunctions against Border Patrol and fucking Homeland Security. I mean, it's insane out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's all, again, based on creator endowed liberties that are sacred. It's not based off of some code and where they said this is where your rights are backed up. Man, I don't need that. I'm telling you where my rights are backed up by me stating it and bringing it forth. There can be no claim or cause of action. Whoa, Alir, y'all getting bumpy over there. Watch out now. Damn.
Yeah, it's making a turn on a not so good road, so.
Yeah, it's like, whoa. Yeah. So, yeah, Jasmine, I just wanted to let you know, like, we going deeper, and hopefully, like, you can see some of the aspects. Like, if you come into the Discord, you'll be a Wisedome noob at first, but maybe we can throw you in as a Wisedome member. We'll see what's up. You got to get off in there first, though.
Okay, yeah, I just like going into the courts. A lot of times in Ohio, they can be very dismissive when they tag you as a sovereign citizen because under our case law, sovereign citizens kind of is like a pro se litigant who makes frivolous filings and meritless claims.
Okay.
So, in
Now,
order to
what would that
avoid,
be? What would that be then? What would you do in
so,
that type situation?
so I had motion to strike the claims of the sovereign citizen because I wasn't technically asserting what the person
Okay.
or they, you know.
This is probably how we would do it. I don't know. Maybe some other people would do it different. um, a
Jasmine,
disqualification. A disqualification. 211.
What if
Right.
you like missed it because everything has to be done timely. So in the event that you miss the timely
Okay.
portion,
What about bringing in a judicial notice then?
see, I wasn't sure how to use the judicial notice, so I'm still like a newer, like learning this in the different
So
processes.
your judicial notice is like setting up the chess pieces. So the court's like an empty blanket board, right? Like it's got its standard rules, but like you can bring in other pieces into it and kind of make more rules. You can stack on rules and applications of bodies of law and case opinions to support everything that you're trying to do. But a lot of the times you got to do that through judicial notice, right? Because they will not take judicial notice of those facts until you establish them on the record. Crazy, right?
Also,
You would think you have.
I want to add one really fine-tuned thing, and I think I learned it through U.S.L. and his documents on his website. I somehow was going through the Nisi Prius stuff. Now, we all know we're dealing with with courts and no record. For more reason, when it is Nisi Prius, judicial notice makes them take notice, and they have to hear what you say explicitly, because judicial notice brings it to the forefront, especially with courts and no record. So when you know it's courts and no record and you're making the record, judicial notice is another back you up on the backside to allow you to get them to be heard. And you'll find that it's like my favorite tool too. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. I just want to add on to that too. There are two main ways of doing judicial notices. One way, you can put whatever you want into it, but if it's something that's open for discretion, then the judge doesn't have to take notice. They only may take notice at their own discretion. Whereas if you do a judicial notice and you keep it about facts of law, the true statutes, the amendments, of the Constitution, actual factual things that cannot be disputed by anyone, then the court must take notice. They don't get a choice. So if you do your judicial notice properly, they are one of the most powerful tools, probably right up on par with a memorandum of law. If you do them,
and they work hand in hand beautifully. They work hand in hand beautifully. Yeah.
if I may, Jasmine, if you see the chat, I put my Facebook. If you want to hit me up, since we're both in Ohio. I've been doing this about 1.5 years now. So maybe I'll have some laws for you that can help you out. Also, if you don't mind, for those who are new, Alira does the jurisdiction study group on
Basic
Mondays
procedures,
and
yep.
Fridays at 9 p.m. if you're Eastern, 6 p.m. if you're Western Coast. So if you want a link, I'm sure she'll put it in the chat.
Well, she just joined the Discord, so we'll have announcements on there anytime. And if you want to join the email announcement chain that we have for it, there's a channel on there under the Wisedome category called Basic Court Procedures. If you go and put your email in there, or even in the general chat, and we'll get it moved over for you, and we'll get you added to the email list too. And for whoever was just asking about doing judicial notice, we actually just did that last night. In our class, we did judicial notices on evidence last night.
It was a fun class.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What's up, Sean? How you doing? Good, good, good. All right. Kendra, how did everything go with you? Are you wanting to kind of speak on it? Do you have some video or audio you want to share? We can listen and critique and know what's going down.
No, I don't want to be critiqued at all.
Come on, let us do it. Let us do it.
I don't have any audio or anything. I'll share what happened.
Okay, cool. Let's hear it. Give us details, girl.
Okay, see, I have no idea how the court process worked, like in the room like that. I've been in court before, but I had an attorney, of course. I went in with a statement, and it's interesting. I actually, when I got there, there was a note on the courtroom door that said the court would be held in courtroom 16. So I had a different judge than anticipated. There was actually only 2 people set for pretrial that day, myself and another person included. And so I got to sit there and just observe. And I was extremely intentional of just dropping into my heart space and staying there. And I felt like I did. But it was very heavy what was present. So I went up and I started speaking and stuff. And I asked the judge if I could read my statement. And he said yes. And then I don't have it pulled up with me right now. I'm just getting overwhelmed talking about it. So he railroaded me after I started the first paragraph. I was just making statements about how the stop by the officer was. I didn't even do jurisdiction, by the way. I didn't even go with that. I created my own statement. He railroaded me and said, he's like, I just need to let you know that anything you say can and will be used against you on the record. And you know, that kind of got me, but my voice started shaking. I started crying, and I finished my statement and I moved to dismiss immediately. And he denied it after the state said, we disagree with what Miss Williams is saying. It appears that she was notified. And in that moment, I was just frozen. I really didn't know what to respond with, how to respond. And so, yeah, I just let myself stand strong in the state I was in. And that's when they offered to drop it down to failure to present and display with a guilty plea without adjudication. And I just decided to accept that and go pay the money. I just wanted to be done. So that's how it went.
You can renege that.
Do what now?
You can renege that. Send in
Renege?
memorandum of law. You mistakenly blah blah blah. So that at least you sent that to the court. Because when they said it appears as if you've been given notice, that word appears means that it hasn't been. Because appears is a fiction.
It's a hearsay.
It's a hearsay. It's a fiction. It's a guess. It's vague. Vague and unenforceable. You didn't know to say anything at the time, but you bring that up. I just recommend always canceling whatever it is they said, even if it's weeks later.
No, that's good to know. I just knew in that moment my body had enough, and it was time to fold.
Well, and sometimes you have to step back so that you can actually go and learn what you need to do properly to be able to do it better next time around and to know what you're going to be having to do.
Yeah, it was a great learning process. I'm grateful to be here with y'all.
And definitely feel free to come join Basic Mondays and Fridays. It teaches pretty much how the courts are supposed to work.
Okay, so I have a question. I was gonna say I have a question because I know that because I was watching a video from Yusuf and he was explaining private versus public and the administrative agencies and how it works. And, based on the Chevron doctrine, that's where a lot of these agencies got a lot of their power to enforce certain laws, clarify certain ambiguities and things like that. Now, since that has been overturned, I do know that that is what allows you to request that the municipal judge who is wearing their administrative hat put on their judicial hat and review the law. And I was just curious, has anybody had any success with actually getting a judge to instead of administrating the process to actually adjudicate the process or handle it judicially.
Say the last part one more time.
Has
The
anyone
question was like, it's like,
Okay, so basically, when a case is handled administratively, I believe, they don't really have to have the full picture. So like, public safety and things
well,
like that sometimes.
it depends on like, if there's a contract in place, right? Are you tied? Have you given consent? So that's normally how it works, right? If there's no consent, there's no contract. A lot of the times, like, people will be like, well, how do you just get cases dismissed? Why they just dismiss them? I have no contract with the state. They're over here imposing and presupposing that I live in the state. I don't live in the state whatsoever. That's why the officers be like, oh, it shows in here in their system he's suspended. No, my right to apply is suspended. That doesn't mean I have a license that's suspended. Oh, and the picture doesn't show up if it's suspended. No, I don't have a picture because I'm not in your system. Like you're intentionally not reading things correctly for a reason. Then they just bring forth what they want to bring forth, and the DAs never pick it up. Like it's all across the board. It's not just like a one-off type situation. It's every single time. And then because they feel as though, oh, well, we have to utilize something, the last little bit that they can lean on is interference. Out of everything that y'all brought forth, took me to jail and all, now you're going to say interference with what? What crime? What I interfere with? So again, there has to be that corpus delicti. There's never that corpus delicti. Now, when it comes to the Chevron, yeah, Chevron's cool because, they got to get away from and when everybody was first even talking about it, which I haven't even been utilizing it as much as I should when I first started talking about it, but I do have like a Chevron motion, but I just don't utilize it. I've moved more towards like, again, away from those aspects more into things that directly involve us and their violations, because more than likely 90% of the time they have some violation somewhere. So it's not even so much so that we're getting to the point where we're arguing what happened as far as the claim that's being brought forth, but actually the violations that they committed that really nullifies everything moving forward. Because there's usually, these cops don't know the exclusionary rule whatsoever, and thus, yeah, I can do that one. Thus, since they don't know the point, I mean, we had Hayden's case literally get everything suppressed, right? In Florida, he had DUI. Dude had the beer can in the motherfucking middle. You dig what I'm talking about? Like, the beer can was in there, all right? The beer can was in the middle, and it got totally dismissed. Why? Because the cop said, you're going to give me whatever I ask for whenever I want. Well, we brought that to the attention and got it shown that you can't be doing that, bro. And the judge agreed to it, and everything got suppressed. So what do they have to stand for from that point forward? Nothing. Of course it gets no prosecuted. So, well, that's how it goes. It's like a cape. It's like a part of a cape, and it goes, it's not a dress, I don't think. No, this is just part of a back outfit. It's not, you can have it like that, though. You can have it like that, though.
So is that a legitimate question to ask the judge, whether he's looking at it from one perspective or another from the judicial?
Well, it would be, yes, ma'am. Hold on one second. What? Well, I don't know. It's part of a cape. Ask Sissy. Sissy knows better than me. That might be the wrong doll. Might be a different type doll. I'm not sure if it's for her. Ask Sissy though. She might know. Tino ain't gonna know how to do that.
So hey, mastermind out there.
Okay, so what it is, it's all about, again, judicial notice. You're saying judicially, yes. So if you're bringing forth something on a judicial notice, okay, in correlation to a memorandum with points and authorities, whether it's through the notice and demand, whether it's on your constitution or your statutory side under 8.3, or you're going under a constitutional framework side, either or, okay, depends on how some people want to argue it differently. It depends, but like right now, I'm kind of just going statutory because I want to get more evidence on the record and kind of argue it out and really see how it's going to play out. To be honest with you, I think it's fun to do this sometimes. You get experience, you get to see how these people are going to play, and then just where they lack and where you have stronger points that will either be agreed to or disagreed to. Because either way, I know there's no contract, there's no residency. So, yeah, you want to bring everything forward on a judicial notice written, call for, I would think, like a notice, a hearing, bring forth a notice of hearing, and then argue those aspects and really get it on the record and see where the state's going to rebut. Also, a really strong suit is a bill of particulars, now stated throughout the states a lot, as a motion for more, or a demand or notice for more definite statements. And these are badass. Alana, have they still entered yours yet or no?
I hadn't gotten to that. I needed help with that
Oh
paperwork.
my God. Yes, that
But
is.
honestly, I think this is gonna end up getting thrown out. I really do.
I know it. I told you. We just have to get through the little bit of the trial. Man, someone is going crazy. Chill.
Dinging you up.
Yeah, like chill. So yeah, those are really cool if you don't need them. But yeah, in the very beginning, bill of particulars, motion for more definite statements. These are really good because they're actually a requirement. Once you request them, the state is compelled to produce them, and so they must produce them. I don't know if anybody else has anything to share about that.
I had got a bill of particular. I did put in a motion for a bill of particulars, or request for bill of particulars. And I don't know if the prosecutor was doing their complete job, just for the simple fact that even when I requested a notice of an intent for the discovery, it was just they only gave me a list of the things that they were going to be using inside of the case. They didn't actually tell me what their intention was to use this evidence, opposed to just giving me what they're going to be using. So I did put on the record, I'm not sure if, this is in compliance with the Brady rules to actually give me fair notice and be able to properly defend myself, because they violated me a lot like due process. They violated my due process rights, just for the simple fact that they never told me what I was actually being charged with, aside from giving me vague language like display a license plate, or lidded lights, or something like that. They never actually told
You ain't
me
got no.
what the
You ain't got
charge
no.
was.
You ain't got no video of your situation.
I have some videos of like what happened.
Where are they at? You got them posted online?
No, I never posted online.
Where are they at on like Google
Well, they
Drive or
sent them to
something?
me because I request for like I do a FOIA, and they give them to me.
All right, let's see them.
Oh yeah.
You want to see them?
Yeah, let's see them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was also gonna say that I'm
Hello.
a proponent for disqualifying and recusing judges by filing complaints.
Yeah, today's a workshop day. What do you have them on Google Drive, or do you want to just have sharing a capability?
Let me see. How can I do this? There's a couple of different. I can just, let me see if I can download it. Give me a second.
Okay, so then yeah, the bill of particulars is very strong, y'all. And the reason being is because what it does is it allows you to compel the state to do a duty, right? And that is to give you particulars or more definite statements that are going to allow you to defend yourself properly. If you're not getting everything that's needed to adequately defend yourself, then that is actually a violation of due process in and of itself. It's another argument, another, crutch to lay on. And what it does is it puts them in a frenzy to have to prepare all these things for you. And if they don't have that, then these are points that you can argue as, well, why don't you have these things? Right? They're supposed to, they're requirements. They're things that they have so many requirements. It's just, do we know of them? So it's like Alirabi saying, like, do we know the procedures of the court? That's what jurisdiction's at. I'm coming at it like, do you know your creator endowed rights, and do you know the aspects on where we can attack and what they're required to do, right? And what they're not eligible to do, right? A lot of the times we're getting into warrantless arrests and what those are required. Look, like, I don't see how these civil infractions therefore fall into your warrantless arrest category. It does not. Actually, we look in Kansas, and it's explicitly stated that traffic infractions are not to be arrested whatsoever. Yet they're still doing it in Quentin's situation over and over again. It's not a matter of has it been wrote in legislature. It's a matter of what is the intelligence level of the law enforcement agency? It's the communities that are allowing the agencies that they're paying to act in such an illegal manner. And that's just based on the lack of intelligence, wisdom, and knowledge, and knowing what they truly have. As far as the right to self-governance, that's all it boils down to. So when we're sitting here always on my court, it's really getting out here in these streets and continuously moving these people to start learning this shit and coming and joining. So it's like, damn, I'm starting to know. Damn, I need to know what's expected of these police officers. Damn, I need to quit just bootlicking and thinking all of this shit really is required. Damn, I need to quit laughing at people's harm. Damn, I need to quit thinking that it's okay to have these people's cars towed. Yes, ma'am. Okay, go get it. Give me the other one. So that's how I'll be looking at it. I'll be like, we got a mission. So it's getting out here in these streets actually and starting to change these laws. Oh, you want me to put her head on this one? Oh, I don't think it works like that. I can't take it off. It won't come off. It won't come off. And I don't know where her head's at. I don't know who did that.
Head
It might be
transplant.
in the brown one. Yeah, the brown one. In the case, it's black and brown. But I'm not sure. Yeah, look, yeah, that one. There you go. Well, take that one out. Sorry.
No, I love the
Never
fact that you
apologize
don't
for them.
ignore your kids. That's good.
You can't? Hold on. Well, somebody else can touch base on that.
I
I
was
got
just
too
gonna
distracted.
say, it's, hey, it's time for you to perform, baby. Here's your bill of particulars, and then they go, oh fuck, I actually have to give them something that has substance.
Sorry I'm late, guys. It's my weekend. Shit, I've been asleep all weekend, all morning, late for the class. I know I missed everything.
Don't
How
worry,
dare you forget to set an alarm.
Today's just been like a workshop. And we kind of just running through some things. Not everything, though. Here you go. I got it.
Now I have a question: why you guys go to federal court opposed to state court? I'm just curious.
Article 1 versus all their bullshit. Because it's administrative. These aren't even the separation of powers. This is the reason they don't follow their procedures, is because they're not actual judicial. They're impersonating judicial officers, but they're under the executive or the legislative. Let's see, the cops, the LEOs are under the executive, and if I'm not mistaken, the administrative officers, clerks, because they're bankers, are under the legislative.
So
where's
what
your
is a
judicial and all?
presiding? What is a presiding judge?
It's a clerk. It's that's what I'm talking about. They're not judges. They're calling themselves judges, but they're just banking clerks. The bench is their bank.
The proper term for what Lana's talking about is administrative law judges. They
Well,
are
I
not
know,
truly
but
constitutional judges.
the only thing I would say about that is because when I was reading the Court of Common Pleas, they do have a presiding judge, and then they also talk about having administrative judges. So I was guessing, but I could be wrong, that the presiding judge is the only actual judicial judge in that court system. And any other judge who they put on your case is an administrative judge.
No, the presiding judge is generally the judge who's overseeing that case. And then there's other
No, but
judges
she
in
is
there
right.
too.
She is right. She is right on this one.
Okay.
Because right now that's kind of what I have going on with mine. So when I first put in for my federal in my Hood River, it was a federal judge, and then they pushed it down to like more of an administrative judge. They did, and to have her go ahead and try and settle these matters first. And if it can't get resolved there, then I have the option to take it back up. You know, of course. But it is more right now on just. But with mine, see what's going to happen is they're about to settle. They're trying to see one more time if they can. Yes, ma'am. Okay, they're trying to see if they can get a summary judgment to stop the case from moving forward, but it's not going to happen. I'm going to just request again for for the case to move forward, and they've already said if it moves forward, then they're going to be starting to talk about settlements, and they know it's going to move forward, but they have to make that strategic move for their clients because that's really the only thing they have. They just had the worst deposition of their lives that they can possibly imagine, you know. So. I don't know if they didn't expect it to go like that, but it went like Yeah, pretty good. So
I need to.
it's, you still have the option to move it up if you're not wanting, if you don't get what you're getting out of the lower judge though, which is what I have right now. I don't know where the other one go, but I thought you only had one shoe on.
Not to jump in, and maybe someone in the room can help me. I got a case. Didn't go my way. Put in all the paperwork that was necessary. Motions didn't get heard. It was, in fact, just denied. They didn't even go over it. I say, okay, well, fuck it. I'll take it to appellate court. Appellate court shoots it down. They just sent me a one sentence letter saying, hey, your motion or your appeal was denied, period, flat out. I know at that point that I have a couple of days to put in other paperwork for the appellate, at least for them to review the documents that I have.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
I think of telling you a little bit of what I've been dealing with an appellate type of appellate court. It will help you some. So with my case that I'm dealing with currently, it's a court of no record. And the way Texas does their court of no records is when you appeal it, you don't appeal it to an actual appellate court, you appeal it to the county court for a trial de novo, which means from the beginning as if it's never been tried before. Now, I did all that filing, I did my notice of appeal. The county judge decided to deny it without a hearing, without getting anything filed from the other side, nothing. She just outright denied it on a trumped up government code that only pertained to courts of record. So I did what's called a motion to reconsider. And I called out the fact that that code she was using only pertains to courts of record, which mine is not. And I did all the reasoning and all the facts and evidence into it that I needed, and she granted that. And then turned around and denied it again on a different claim. So I did another motion to reconsider, and she did another change on it. So now I'm going with writ of mandamus. After 3 times over, she's not going to do her job. Now I'm moving it up to an even higher court than her.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about that?
Well, hold on real quick. Let Keenan go ahead.
I'm lost in the sauce. So, and obviously I'm late to the class. So I'm trying to soak in as much information as we got. So long story short, I got 2 cases that's pending. I got a traffic ticket that me and Cameron, we spoke very briefly up on. I also have this child support case. Both of them are kicking my ass. I'm gonna tell you that now. More so the child support than the traffic tickets. I think the traffic tickets are more infractions and more fix-it tickets than anything, which I was considering just go ahead and fixing it. But in the same breath, I'm in a different process where they both clash. The private plates, the withdrawing of driver's license and all that extra good stuff. I'm not necessarily sure if that will be the correct way, but from what I am reading, a driver's license is nothing but a contract anyway. It's a dual contract from what I understand.
Yes and no.
So I guess what I'm saying is I'm on the line of, hey, should I go ahead and just withdraw from the program itself or keep my driver's license or what?
Well, at the end of the day, that's your decision to make. We cannot make that choice for you. You have to be willing to either let it go and stand on your rights, or if you want to just abide by it until you can get through your other stuff. That is your choice to make.
Do you feel ready to stand on your rights? To go back and forth in court, adapt to what the judge says? Have you practiced amongst yourself, that kind of thing? Do you feel ready?
I'll say this. I've been back and forth in court cases or courtrooms so many times and actually citing the law, especially presidential executive orders, and none of it gets heard, to the point where I'm damn near feeling like I'm defeated at this point.
So you're not sure how to stand yet?
Say again?
So you're not quite sure how to fully stand yet. There's still enough question marks. If that's the case, it's all good, dude, because we all have to enter at some point. Everyone steps on the train at some point.
Yeah, I think like I have I have the playlist on YouTube. It's the advanced right to travel course, and that one's
You
like
might
15.
want to hit that. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's like 15 hours, and it really breaks down from beginning to end on how this whole thing even came about. So
And
we
then listen
really
to
getting
Carl
in
Miller
deep.
right after that.
We getting in really
Damn
deep.
deep. Yeah.
And we getting in really deep on those aspects of just how it began and then everything you need to know that's in between. Because you got the motor carrier aspects and there's 3 different main categories in relation to carriers. I mean, it's really all over the place. But in that course itself, which I can give you the link right now. Hold on real quick. But that one I would say if you looking on some right to travel and really understanding how the law works, that's easy. Right to travel, but that's right to travel is like the baby of understanding your creator endowed rights. You know, once you start to understand that everything is based off creator endowed rights and irreparable harm that's being brought to you because you the highest of all authority, you are a creation of the creator, then it's everything becomes literally a violation, bro. Like I don't know how to get like that is a real thing. I don't know. Am I saying this correctly or no?
I mean, I get it. Yeah, I
yes.
know what you're saying.
You just do you know how to bring it forth? It's hard to bring it forth. I get it. Okay. So here's the advanced right to travel course. I just put the link in the chat.
Yeah.
What's up, Thomas? I wanted to see also Thomas. Hold on, looking real quick. Thomas, I wanted to see is April want to talk about her case and her hearing this today or no?
All right, I got it. I got the links.
So that's okay. Yeah, that's the advanced right to travel course. It's about 15 hours. It's fun, bro. We had fun in that bad boy. Make sure to comment too on those and let me know how you liking it and what you dig about them. That was cool. Now, if you got child support stuff going on too, we got people that's got child support stuff going on. If you're in a Discord, man, you could look up you literally could just search child support and the channels are gonna show up. Okay, you want me to put it on there?
Hey, Cam, I used that. There's a guy called Black Site 32, I believe it is.
The Bad
James,
Wolf.
James Love. Yeah, he's got a packet on there for child support.
Yeah, well,
look with
papers.
Hey, time out.
Okay.
We're not promoting James.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry. So if you anybody that wants anything done, yes, ma'am. Oh, yep, I'll put these back on. You're right. We do everything custom tailored for you. You don't need no more templates anymore. Okay, you ain't gonna go pay somebody for templates for somebody else. We're making things specific to your situation. So we have AI for it. We have the most advanced technological. We're in the most advanced technological age we've ever been in, and it's growing at an exponential rate. Everything is custom tailored exactly to your situation, exactly for your state, exactly for your municipality codes, the whole 9 yards for you. Like that's what we do. So
And it is
other people
100 times better than any template that you'll ever find anywhere.
So we don't do
I
templates.
apologize for that, Cam.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
I just didn't think anybody had anything for him, and so
no, we
that's why
got
I
bro.
said that.
Everything is in Discord
I
that you
got
can
you.
think of. Everything is in Discord that you can think of to help you understand more about other people's situation and your situation, and then that's what we do in our meetings, just like I did with you. Everybody gets the same thing. We utilize the technology to develop exactly for your tailored needs. We're the first ones to do this, so why not run with it? Yeah, so I just want you to know that, like, that's number one. You just got to write out your situation, book some time, and we'll run through it and get you where you need to be, bro. And then get you steps ahead, right? Because like once you start seeing too, like how I'm doing everything, you're gonna be like, okay, I see how he's doing this. So we getting everything developed, we going back and forth in the Discord, then it's gonna be like, oh, now I'm starting to run with it. Now you're doing what you need to do for yourself, and you're now being able to have the eligibility to help others. Oh my God, let that spread. Please, please. That is my desire and dream for you to take what you are learning here and to flourish with the rest of the nation. Because if not, then what are we doing this for? I can't be your caretaker. I can only be your brother. You see what I'm saying? It can only help you so far to where it's like, run, my nigga, run.
There's an old saying called I can fish for you today, but if I teach you to fish, I can feed you forever.
Right.
Is
That's
there
what I'm trying to get
train?
everybody out, bro. It takes a little bit of time. You'll get there. The technology's easy now. Just a couple little tweaks we gotta get you to understand. I know I got a mind frame here of knowing creator endowed rights and a little bit more experience. It's cool. Utilize our experience. Ask the questions, bro. We here for that. Like definitely in the Discord. Like, but you got to write out your situation too. We got to know where you're at. Like if like with any person that's going through something right now, like with Ken, you know, he's come on, he shared his situation. Anybody in here right now can run with his situation and be like, you know what, we need to do this next or do this next. But he knows what he needs to do. He actually needs to get in there and go talk to the DA, file this paperwork on their ass and make them get to work. Rebut the presumption and shift the burden back on the state. Their turn. Your turn. I brought forth what I am. Go ahead and rebut that shit. It's gonna be pretty hard. Guarantee you, most times we don't get an answer. We've gotten a few. And when we get responses, oh boy, are they bad. And I mean bad, okay? People talking about, yeah, in his motions, he's talking about harm and criminality, and that is not applicable in New York law. Bitch, what? I know, we've seen this. Y'all know who I'm talking about, KCO, okay? Yeah, it's crazy out here, bro. They're using ChatGPT to try and combat us now, bro. That's how bad it is. And it's
Yeah,
not.
but they ain't using it nearly as well as you do, and they use it for creating everything and not just using it as a template that we then correct to fit what we need it to.
Everybody is individual to the situation because you got to. You got to. But again, it's on constitutional violations on the forefront, and that's on everything. I mean, I don't care if it's child support or not. It's on every damn thing in the world.
If I
I
could,
have a quick question. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead. After you. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna ask a quick question about the driver's license contract because isn't it I don't know if it's void or voidable because technically it infringes on our right to travel. And because it
No,
infringes
it doesn't.
on
No, it doesn't. No.
not at all.
Why would it? How does it infringe on your right to travel? Give me how it does.
Because when you have the license plate on your car, it creates a presumption that your car is a motor vehicle.
Oh, well, you said it perfectly.
That's why
There is
you
a
give up
presumption.
that plate.
They got a presumption though, and that's fine. They can have a presumption, right?
Absolutely, yes, they can.
Okay. So then let's see here. If they have a presumption, can't you rebut that presumption?
You can.
Sure
Okay.
can.
And once you rebut that presumption and you invoke said right, what does that do? Does that protect you or not?
It should protect them.
Okay. So if it doesn't, what happens?
They violate you.
Okay. So you bring forth the claim. Let's get paid.
Okay.
It's
Let's
all
get paid. You
about
ain't down to
building
take the ride? You ain't down to take the ride? You never seen the black mama with her 2 daughters that got paid $8.2 million for just getting put in the cop car for 15 minutes?
How do you, that was the one thing I didn't know how to do is how to figure out how much emotional
You start
irreparable
writing.
harm.
Irreparable harm is as soon as you start
Irreparable
writing,
harm.
your heart tells you what's true. That heart words coming out in language on the paper creates irreparable harm. It also causes you to get creative and write more because you start to remember more. And then you got a thing, big fat thing. And I guarantee you those black ladies did that. They wrote
Think
some
about
shit.
this. You're a child, right?
How do
Let's
you
say
put in the
let's-
amounts though? How do you
Listen.
find the, oh, sorry.
Listen, let's say you're a child, right? You take your mind as a child and you've been taught right from wrong. And you know at like 9 or 10 years old, you clearly know you're not tainted, all right? The rights or wrong are clear in your mind, okay? We've all been tainted in certain forms, calloused on certain aspects of life, okay? We've all got our bruises, okay? And in some aspects, we don't see harm for what it truly is a lot of times. But if you take more of an innocent approach, you know what's wrong and what's right. Most people have that moral compass, okay? And irreparable harm is very deep. It ties into things that we have forgotten to really appreciate and understand. There are serious the aspects of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and property. That happiness is very serious. There should be no thing that intervenes into your happiness, period. A nuisance is a violation of your happiness. That's how petty you can get. That's how I'd be telling people like, you need to get as petty as possible. Because again, you deserve the best out of people. You deserve it. God has granted you this beautiful life for you to behold. You should never be told what to do. You should never be violated in any form or fashion. You should never have your self-governance stripped of you in any way. These are creator endowed rights. The moral aspect, it's like the golden ratio and rule. You violate that, you're violating my life and existence and my happiness.
Cam, I love that you keep hammering this point. I mean, you say this over and over, and thank you for continuing to hammer that point home. It's very important.
Second that motion.
I second the motion.
And like, that's
Damn.
the most important.
That's
There's nothing else to argue about. Really, truly, deeply down inside, these violations have violated my happiness. This is irreparable harm that is caused by this manner and form and fashion. Bring forth due to the aspects of seeing the case down in California where someone was put in this aspect, I'm bringing forth this as my claim as I see it forth. That's how you do it. Some people be like they in my rogatories, they want to ask me, Hood River, they want to be like, oh, well, you need to bring forth some kind of doctor's note. Nigga, who's to sit here and say that I have to succumb to some kind of theory based on how they believe a mental state, capacity, being, peel, seminar, class, conversation is going to dictate me? Well, what about the actual conversations that I have with my family, or the interactions that I have with my children? Or how about those life experiences that no one is able to see or know about, that is able to, you know what I'm saying, notice the differences on how I have lived my life? Like, my whole life has changed because of these interactions. You clearly see it. Would I be here now if it wasn't? Clearly, my whole purpose has changed, so much so that I lose sleep. So much so that I have to take on burdens of pain of other people because of the lack of intelligence and moral capacity to do right in this world of others.
Away from your kids.
I'm telling you, bro. It's 7 a.m. to 11 every day, bro. Because people cannot get the comprehension that other people just have rights to be free and left alone. I don't get it. You're required. Bro, I'm not required to do shit, bro. Administration of a free man is repugnant to his freedom. You got me fucked up, my nigga. I'm sorry, I ain't the one. I am. Just like all of you are. It's stupid,
If
bro.
it harm none, let it be done.
You're at 3 hours, 13 minutes, Cam. That's a good note to end on.
Oh, yes.
Oh, we ending it here? Oh, okay. Well, I guess say bye to everybody on YouTube then. Bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye,
Later,
YouTube.
Later, YouTube.
Bye, Anara.
Bye, YouTube.